Ms. Franklin, have something that you want to present? Oh, yeah. Before we do that, though, we on the agenda, we've got room for citizens' comment. Is there anybody that would like to come before the board for up to 3 minutes? If not, that portion of the agenda is now closed. So if the board doesn't mind, we'll ask Ms. Franklin if she'll come forward and present what she has.
So the agenda speaks about the bookkeeping position for the comptroller, and it also talks about the county engineer position. As you know, the county engineer position has already been posted, so that was something that we were going to talk about separately. So really, on that first bullet where it says both of those, we're really just talking about the one bookkeeper. I had presented through email the actual job description that I sent you guys. You need another copy, more or less. We need y'all to make a motion for us to be able to post that position for the bookkeeper, effective maybe tomorrow. And we wanted to do it internally for 5 days. So that would be tomorrow through next Thursday, and then post it externally Friday for another week, and then pull it down. That way it gives internally the first available options to apply, and then after that. So
Move approval. Motion by Supervisor Carver, second by Supervisor Little, that we authorize the posting and advertising for the bookkeeper position. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
the other was the county engineer position, and the candidate that we have available that I believe would have to go into executive session to discuss that. So that was the only other thing that I have.
Can we delay that until the upcoming meeting?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Whatever's more convenient.
If that pleases the board, because we'd, be good if, I think if we had a board attorney here and our county administrator.
Yes, I would like that.
Okay,
I
all
would
right.
prefer that.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is a bookkeeping position, assistant comptroller, gonna be working with the comptroller.
This will be a person that will be reporting to G, the comptroller.
Okay, good.
And I have a copy of that if y'all want one for your. And, sure, and Dee, Wayne and I have already discussed the description, and so we all are in agreement that this is the great, the best opportunity that we have to get someone to become a bookkeeper for her. The wage range is to be decided, but we do want to get it posted.
As a person in office now, that's a temporary person, as a person that working out as temporary.
That's to help one of our employees who's out. It's not a bookkeeping position, it's more of just helping out in the accounts payable area. Is that what you were?
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, no, sir, that's not the same person. Any other questions?
And that's just a temporary position.
That is, it's just a temporary position until that employee returns.
Sounds good.
Calling Victor just to make sure he hadn't forgot.
Anything else?
I think that's it, unless anybody.
Okay.
Morning, Mr. Collins, you haven't forgot about the workshop this morning at 8. Okay. Okay, all right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. All right, okay. All right, that being said, we'll go ahead and get started with Mr. Clyde Pritchard, our engineer, and talk about our projects, the ones that's been identified, and however you feel like you need to proceed with this.
First of all, appreciate your time. I kind of prompted this meeting, but thought it was timely, what y'all got going. I've got a couple of items on current projects I'd like to clean up if I can. To start with is So we took bids on the Osborne Road Bridge, LSBP 5319. Hope you've had an opportunity to look at the bid tabulations. I have a copy here if you have not.
I have.
I might want to pass these down. And our low bidder was Glasgow Construction. They're over in Dean, Alabama. Glasgow has done work in Mississippi and around Tupelo and Lee County for quite some time. We've done testing, staking for them. They're a good reputable contractor. So the bid came in and under the estimate by quite a bit. And I have a board order from state aid, required order to award that project to Glasgow. If it pleases the board.
All right, make a motion, go ahead and move forward.
Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Little. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes.
This project will be solely paid for under LSVP funds. Supervisor Howard, I need your signature on this, Ms. Sharon, I'm ready to leave town. I can bring it back if I can.
I wouldn't bring my staff with me.
I can come by later or before we pick it up. Either way.
She's gonna go get those.
Thank you so much.
Any estimated starting date?
No, we'll send this to state aid, they'll concur, we'll send contracts to Glasgow, they'll get the contract bonds up, they'll have to make a cycle, so I can say a month at the earliest before we'd actually get started. Okay. Second item I have for you is LSVP 5318, that's the Sherman Drive box culvert. You'll remember that's sort of stood in limbo for right away for quite some time. Supervisor Little and Rob have acquired the right of way now. We have those deeds on file. I need the county attorney, Mr. Robertson, to sign his right of way certificate. Says that's been done. So I can leave it for y'all. I can send it to Rob and say and give it to you.
Yes, I will take it to him as soon as we leave here.
With that, I'd like to ask a order from the board to advertise LSBP 5318, contingent on state aid authorization.
I'll make that motion
What was the motion, Ms. Lee?
on LSBP.
Permission to advertise LSBP 5318, that's the Sherman Drive box culvert, contingent on state aid authorization.
Motion by Supervisor Little, second by Supervisor Williams. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
On current projects, New Light Road, Blackjack, Bethel have been overlaid, base repaired and overlaid. We lack putting the shoulder material on the road. The pits are wet now, and the material is wet. Got a little bit of stall when we get the shoulder material down and dressed up, and then we'll lack striping. If you have any obvious issues on those that you'd like for us to address, before we get out there and put shoulder down and stripe and let her know. But the surface is down on those roads.
We're good, just need to get it done.
Yeah,
You catch about 10 or 12 days of rain and ready to go.
I was actually finishing up. I thought Bethel Road looked really good. So, we still got work to do if you get called. We gotta get shoulder material down, we gotta get them striped, they got blade markers on them, they're gonna look really nice.
Before we on the shoulder working, all the
We do,
roads that you get.
we do have shoulder material on those.
Mm.
Thanks to Miss Patty, we won't do a job anymore without shoulder material.
Tremendous.
You'll have a combination of some of what they milled up in the base repairs and shoulder material that we purchased and we put back on
I
there.
thought we could use some of that material.
We will use some of it to the extent that we can.
Mm.
Got one issue I'd like to speak with you on Moorhead Crawford Road. And I think Supervisor Trainer, maybe Mr. Joe, you, we've got somebody cutting timber on Rice Road now. And we worked through Vic and Keith to try to talk with them. We didn't know anybody was cutting timber. I rode the road just to check on my contractor the other day. He was assigned log trucks, all of them. So we got somebody cutting timber about a mile or so up Rice Road. Keith has talked to them, they're coming out Rice, gonna take a right and go south to 45 on Crawford Road. But that puts about a mile of traffic on Crawford Road. That we will soon, or have soon intended to put the TBST on as part of the old Moore Highway Crawford Spring Mountain. The whole story. They had told Keith they would be out in July. It's wet now, with no timber cutters. So we're gonna be forced with, make a decision, do we want to not put the TBST on that mile of Rice, Crawford Road? Put it down and let them traffic it up, or put it on hold? We're waiting on R.J. McQueen, who's the chip seal contractor, to come in and do the work. He's not gonna wanna start at Octot and work the Rice and come back later. So that's something I need y'all to put some thought into.
He's not gonna wanna come back later.
Not without mobilization. We're really waiting. He's out of Collins, Mississippi, Mr. Joe, and basically one of the few folks doing chip seal in the state of Mississippi now. He's actually down from Mr. Jeff's area down there. Does good work. But if he mobilizes on Morehouse Crawford, as long as that is, and we stop him at Rice, he ain't gonna wanna come back and do that one mile. So it's been base repaired, it's been leveled. Now, it's trafficable. But if he puts chip seal on it, he's gonna eat it up.
I wouldn't do that, then.
There's
There's
no other way
another
for it
way
to
out
come
of
out.
Rice.
There's
There's a way out of Rice.
you can go to
down,
Wrigley
you
or
can
what,
go down Crigler
Crigler.
and then take Skinner and then come up Hot Top.
I'm all about it if y'all.
Yeah, let's get him down there.
I don't know that he's got a permit. The only way we know he's down there is we found him down.
Yeah. He can get on Crigler and hit Skinner and he's right at Hot Top.
Well, I need somebody to take the lead that can convey that to him.
But you can just have a road department that ride.
Yeah, the road department can rewrite his permission. His permit.
If we can just let Mr. Vic take care of that.
He should have went to the road department in the beginning.
Now, they don't
You
have a
got
permit.
right, got a permit, you got right.
I understand that.
Yeah, sometimes those guys start cutting it, don't even have a permit, they just out there cutting it off.
Well, that's what's happened here.
Mhm.
And I pulled it up on Google Earth. I don't know if he's got 5 acres, 10 acres, but there's a large tract of land back in there where he's working.
You get him out another way. You might not like it, but you get him out another way.
All right, so I'm taking it, the position of the board is proceed with the contract like we got it. We'll reroute the law.
Reroute the traffic,
Okay,
the haulers.
yes,
Mhm.
very good. I just need some direction now.
We need to get that information on to Mr. Collins, so.
When I spoke to Vic about it, I guess he assigned that to Keith. Keith went down there and found him, talked to him. He's one of the quarterbacks, said he's gonna be in here at least till through July. And that's all I know.
Then we have to watch them too, because they're always looking for the most convenient way out for them.
Well, the most convenient way for him is to hit our job and go out to the road.
Right.
All right, very good. So what I needed now was to approach some new estimates. I had an email from Mr. Joe that inquired about Outlaw, Pike, Cook Drive, and Mount Olive.
Before we get too far down the road on that, what's the update on the box culvert for West Reed Road?
West Reed Road, Mr. Harry Lee James and Lonnie Taylor and I were on the phone yesterday. I asked Mr. Harry, it's been sitting at state aid for a while. And they figured out what the issue was. Where we're putting the new box culvert, there was not a bridge there, there was a box culvert. So there was nothing on their inventory, and even though we got a project, we turned plans in, but when their staff looked at it, they couldn't find it on their map and, because there wasn't nothing there. So they got it resurrected now. He's told me they'll get that plan reviewed within a week. So they're sitting there. It's ready to go.
Okay.
But there was just an issue there, and that when they went in their system to say, well, it's this structure right here, that structure wasn't there. There was nothing there for them to see.
Apparently that was an old farmer's bridge or something, cause I do remember bridges.
Yeah, but it wasn't on their inventory,
Yeah,
so it didn't show on their map. And
Yeah.
so when we said, and Mr. Harry and I had talked about this, we told him what it was and what we were doing, and he was fine with it. He authorized the project, we got a project number, but when he got to his staff, it didn't
They
show,
didn't
it
see it, yeah.
didn't show up. Okay, any other questions about the ongoing projects that we have now?
Mr. President, let me offer a motion if that's appropriate. Can we do that?
Absolutely.
I want a motion that we contact Mr. Collins and have him to reroute the traffic, on the Mohawk, project, to go down Skinner, hit Krigler first, Krigler to Skinner.
Maybe.
And we'll communicate with Mr. Collins in regards to it.
And Mr. Collins, what the discussion we're having right now is timber cutters down on Rice Road.
Yeah.
About rerouting, to a particular. Supervisor Williams said the route that he wanted them to take was to,
Well, we don't have much of a choice. If they can't get on that road with the DBST down, it's gonna be a problem. Chris is already telling us that it's gonna damage the road. Either that or we have to delay the project. And I don't think we need neither one of those. We don't need to delay the project.
We don't need to delay, and I failed to mention
We
too.
certainly don't need to damage the road.
I failed to mention too, we had Pittman mobilized on Rice Road. They had gone in there to try to start it. And when they saw it, they just pulled off. They're going to Rock Hill West, the other side of the county now because of the traffic and the damage that they were doing. So they pulled off and gone. It's already impacted one project, about to impact two.
Do they have a permit?
Patty, you can't stop these people from getting their timber out.
Oh, I know,
They-
I'm
they
just
tax
saying,
payers.
you know, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
She just asked if they were gonna talk to y'all first.
But we
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
They
They did.
route.
Yeah, we can tell them how to get it done.
They did, and so we put them out. They actually, we were able to get them out and send them into Lowndes County. Luckily, Lowndes County let them cross back out and come out on them. Used to be, we couldn't, when before, they wouldn't let them do that, but the new roads, man, they kind of was a little bit more lenient. And that keeps them from coming all the way back over to 25 and all the way across the county, because at one time, that's what we had to do. They wouldn't let them go through Lowndes County, and we had to send them back all the way across the county, back to 25.
so the route we're proposing right now.
Yeah, the route that we're proposing is that they will come out Rise and hit Krigler and go down Krigler, hit Skinner, and hit Skinner and then on top on that. And that might not be convenient for them, but it's best for us.
Yeah.
All right, so your motion is to reroute them on that route. Second by Supervisor Carver, all in favor? Motion passes unanimously.
I have one more item on our action stuff before we move forward. SABP 5304. Supervisor Howard, that's your Sun Creek Bridge. The one in between the two that we did the ERBR. We've sent the final assembly to state aid, it's down there now, so they're putting the last ticks and checks on that. If I could get a similar order to advertise that contingent on state aid approval, we'll have that one ready to advertise.
I'll know the motion that, second by Supervisor Williams, all in favor? Motion passes.
SABP 5304. Just of note, the this is sidebar, we look back at what it cost to do the two ER bridges, which was a little over $900,000 when we did those to do two bridges. This one, same length, basically at the same elevation, same bottom, estimate's well over $1 million for one bridge. So, you know, 7 years, our cost is double.
And that's
Bridge work now, as best we can tell, some of them precast, some of them poured in place. We're in the $6,000-7,000 a foot range for bridges. Okay? All right, that's all I have now. On new estimates, Mr. Joe, you asked us to look at Outlaw, Pike, Cook, Mount Olives, and the repair work on the Williams. And we went out and assessed those. I have estimates now that I can present to you for the work on those 4 roads. Supervisor Trainer, I think I understood your email to say update the ones that we did not award last time. And I've got a list of those. If it suits you, I'll just email that back, and if you wanna add to or delete from, but those estimates are 6-7 months old now, maybe close to a year, for like Rachel Turner and some of those other things, Crawford. If you want us to update them, you'll just say, yeah, I take this one off or add this one too.
sounds good.
Ms. Patty, you asked for Ulay, not Ulay, you asked for South Montgomery, Old Highway 25, and Longview. And I've given you those like in October, November, and recent. Do you need anything else?
I don't know.
At this time, you good?
Yeah.
Supervisor Carver, anything you,
I emailed you,
okay?
thinking 2 or 3, we got those close to them. On the sites and seals, it's gonna be my priority in the city. I'll tell y'all, I went to DC last week, and, it was a good time, we're well represented. Strawberry has a channel up there, obviously, with all Stafford. We're gonna get into this later, but they kinda wanna know what the next big thing that the county is looking for in the next 3 to 5 years. They continually came up with, we spoke about Artesia at length, and had great communication with Pickering up there, and of course, you know, we're with, Cindy Hyde's office, and, Wicker, and Michael Guest, but they are looking for the county to give them some direction. That's not just from our firm, but also from DC down there. They wanna know where, you know, they know these counties grow, and they wanna know where the big thoroughfares are, so I know we're gonna get into that later, but, we thinking that they're looking for direction from this board, so.
Supervisor Howard.
Yes, sir.
And we've got, I guess, hanging with you, is Haven Bell Schoolhouse. Is there, we'll need some direction, Gabe, maybe, what to do there, and anything else that you need. What to look at.
I think the intent today is to get these projects identified
Right.
and then take them through the process of scheduling and putting funding to these projects. So today, I mean, you know, my initial answer, we want to get it done. But I did meet with Mr. Collins on a few others, and a lot of those are gonna be slurry seal projects that we want to get done. He can kind of update you on some issues. I think we looked again at the eastern end of West October, West Reed Road. Cause we on the verge of losing that if we don't get something done. So we've got some projects, but like you said, the big one is Maiden Bell.
Let me offer you now, and this actually comes from Mr. Jeff's brother, Les, is introduce you to something that they've done down south as an alternative to slurry seal that we may want to talk about too, and that's a traditional chip seal, TBSD or DBSD. And I offer this in an estimate to Ms. Patty for Craig Frames Brothers, but they call it a chip seal with a box seal, which is
Does that lock in?
a lock-in liquid asphalt on it, turns it black, makes it look like asphalt like you want, stripes, actually helps some of the rattling in there. And I've got some photos I can forward you to that. That may be an alternative to just a slurry seal.
How, what would be the increased cost? You got any idea, rather than just plain slurry sealing as opposed to this?
Didn't we end up at about 70,000 miles or something like that?
Yeah, we were looking at it, and I want to say for the Craig Spring, it was 12 point something
Yeah.
miles. It was like $80,000 to add
Yeah,
that.
so it wasn't,
It's not like a deal breaker,
Okay.
you know, on it,
It
but it's,
also helps with competition in bidding. A slurry is great, but there's a limited number of people that will bid that. But if you stick with a bitumen surface treatment, add the fog seal, you get a good product, same look, and there's a lot more competition. A lot more people that do that. So, you know, that's one of the things
yeah.
to consider as well.
and I like it for the safety, you know, because, you know, going down, you know, some of those darker roads with the curves and stuff, you know, when you put that, you know, the striping on it, that fog seal on it, you know, seals it and it's dark and that striping, you know, will light up even better.
I've
So I mean,
got
it's a
some
safety
video
feature.
and some photos of Les, sending, project they did down south. I'll be happy to forward them to you. But yes, absolutely right, that could give us a little more competition in the market.
Okay.
Now, with slurry seals, we have resolved our issue with Banner Brothers. I can't believe, I sent the word, it took a little while, but we got that done. And I will say, once we got past the project manager, I guess, or superintendent, and got to their office, things went very well. They were very cooperative, very, yes, we understand, we need to get this resolved, thank y'all for working with us. And, you know, I couldn't ask for better cooperation after we got to their, you know, their head goal. Yeah.
On fog seal, do you do one layer of DBST and then fog seal, or do you have to do DBST 2 layers and then fog seal?
Depends on the condition of the roadway, but what we try to do is finish with the 57 stone, which would be the second coat generally on a DBST job. I asked Les about, well, how would it work with TBST, with that finer rock on top?
Instead of TBST,
And
instead of the third layer?
Instead
do
of the
fog
third
seal?
layer, the consensus is they don't like to put the finer rock on because after the fog seal, it gets a little slick.
Yeah.
You're feeling some boards in there and it gets a little slick, so they kind of like to stop at that 57 stone, which would be your second layer in there, and put it
You
on.
mean the 7 stone?
Yeah,
You said.
I said 57, but it's the
Seven,
number 7 stone.
Yeah, and we looked at some videos on that.
Yeah.
Had some workshops, and that's what they recommended, that you fog seal on it.
On the second.
And, yeah, and we actually looked at some cutouts, of some, of how it stacks, and how the material stacks, and how the fog seal stacks on top of it. And it actually gives an asphalt surface on top of your rock that actually sponges everything together. Because once the asphalt life leaves, that's when the road starts to come apart. And so if you got that asphalt on top, that's always taking that heat, it makes that undercoat, your under layers hold up a lot longer.
It's an additional seal coat
Yeah.
for the weather, and it turns it black, and it's
Yeah.
prettier, and your striping shows better. It's a good product.
We've applied it to just a reseal. But also, with where we have had problems that we would not want to do is apply it to an existing, bituminous surface
Yeah.
that's weathered
Weathered
and
already.
gotten
Yeah.
slick, like Mr. Vick's saying. That can be a disaster.
Yeah, yeah.
So it works great like Clyde said, on a new application. But you gotta be really careful if you, like, we're tempted to say, well, let's just fog seal this road, paint it black, seal it, restripe it. That would be great, but if you
But
do that,
it don't work, it's for the
when it
traffic.
rains, you have a car going everywhere. you know. So that's the one thing to remember, don't try to do it on a road that's been sealed 6, 8 years ago and it's slick off a little.
Let me ask on that process, because with slurry seal, we'll just use a mile of road, for example. A slurry seal, they can come in and lay it down, and within, what, 2 hours, you can turn traffic back on it. What would be the extended amount of time to go through that process, and how long would it be before you could put traffic back on?
It's not the same.
About the
Yeah,
same?
the fog seal in 2 or 3 hours is good.
Okay.
What you know, a couple of times y'all have heard me talk about, we like to wait on the stripe until we get some weather on the road before we strike. Fog seals are a lot the same way. You want to get the dust off that run. One of the big culprits on chip seal work is dusty material. So, you know, it either needs to be swept really good, or rain is great, something to get that dust off before you apply the fog seal.
Okay. So how?
But traffic avoid, you can traffic right away.
Well, I guess I was asking more about that fog seal. So once we chip seal it, we do need to wait for rain,
Well, we'll,
some way.
we'll have to pay attention. I mean, we can heavy broom it, sweep it, and hopefully our material's clean to start with. But you don't want to turn around and put it down if you can see dust flying.
Yeah, it'd have to be swept off.
And that's really the same way with slurry seal. They shouldn't put the slurry seal down if we got dusty material.
I guess and I think this is a good product. I guess my reason over the years for wanting to use slurry seal was simply to try and avoid the chip seal and the gravel flying and,
Oh, yeah.
and you know, cause that's, people want that paved road, but man, that process between waiting on the dust to settle in the gravel and work its way in is that slurry seal is always an option. Just, you know, you can go in and then have to worry about the gravel flying and dust.
As you know better than most, we need a pretty good road to start with.
Exactly,
What
yeah,
we're slurry
exactly.
seal.
That's right.
That's exactly right.
You can, the slurry seal and micro seal, we've done miles and miles of both. I love it, but it is more sensitive. You gotta look at the road.
Yeah.
It's gotta be in pretty good shape for a slurry seal to be the right application. That's a big factor. And then the other is, if you know you've got 3 contractors that bid on it, then it's great. The problem we've had is you put it out there and you get 1 bid, or maybe 2, you know, because Vance Brothers is not local. You know, they're very mobile, but they're not local. And then maybe a couple of Mississippi companies that are in the slurry seal business on that scale. And so that's what you run into as well. You know, it just may be bad timing. But it's a great product, and it looks like an overlay. If it's done right, people really like it. And so there's a place for it. It's just finding
Just
that-
the right place. Okay.
All right, I had a few other things on the agenda other than the estimates on the road. We can go through those, or Supervisor Howard, if you want to share them.
Is yours sure?
One was, we wrote this down as bridge investment overland grant application. And Mr. Jeff has done some research on that, and we've actually, I think, decided it's a better route to go. But the gist of the grant application, the local road safety and community funded projects is that, and I told you all this back in October, we've got capabilities now to help you with some of these grant applications that we didn't have before. And we've got the administrative help, we've got experience in putting some of those together. If you will, you just tell them about this bridge.
Yeah, so I think that, and I think you guys have done this in large part over the years, and I'm respectful of that. So I'm not, you guys may straighten me out on some of this stuff. I want to just give some ideas. So the bridge funding, the federal bridge funding. So I talked with MDOT this week, kind of thinking about this meeting and planning on talking about it. And we have, in the past, we have partnered with MDOT on some federal bridge funding in counties. And it's the Competitive Highway Bridge Program is the best way to do that. The Bridge Investment Program is a good program. It's open to counties, but the state is limited to 2 of those a year. Really 2 of those projects in a cycle. And they have met those 2 projects when I talked to them this week. what they've suggested is partnering on a competitive highway bridge program project. It is a program that is open to states to apply, not to counties, but the DOT is looking for partners. And we've done 2 or 3 of those in the last 10 years. I think we've done 3 of those projects with them where we let them know we want to, and then when the funding opportunity comes out, then they'll reach back out and say, hey, if you'll work with us, we've got a couple of bridges we want to submit, and we'd love for Kimball County to submit some bridges too. The program is set up to bundle bridges. It's set up for multiple bridges. The state can apply for 3 projects in a cycle, so that they've got enough options so that. And so we're talking to them. They like the idea, and Kimball County has a number of bridges that are right for that program. An example, you know the example. There's several on.
Yeah, I ran,
specifically.
when we first started discussing this, the 2 I thought of right away are the 2 A-lid bridges on Morgantown Road that are just past the road that we built down there. One of those is 140 feet, one of them is 160 feet. It's long metal bridges in there. And the day is coming when we're gonna be told to fix it.
In Morgantown, when you turn off the bottom of the 2 bridges and come up to Silver Ridge, or you're talking
No, I'm talking
down
Right
service to the
before you
left?
get-
Morgantown Road, when you come off the pavement, you get the gravel like you're going to Winston County.
Yeah.
You go past the bridge that we replaced with the legislative money, there are 2 long metal bridges in that bottom. And
So y'all are saying have the bridges bundled in a package for competitive, so when we partner with the state, then we make that federal application?
That's right. The state will make the application. We will provide the information, the technical information, but they actually are the applicant.
we put together a quick estimate on those 2, just so you'll know. But, I mean, if they come in here tomorrow and said, they're fixing 2 bridges, which is coming in one day, it's over $3 million for those 2
I would
bridges.
have that bundle ready to go from a standpoint of.
So what I would suggest that we do, in the course of your, right way to do it with your board meeting, if we can provide a memo to Wayne that would outline the program and the opportunity. And then you can just simply, what I would say is let's do a resolution that we can send to MDOT that lets them know, hey, we're in need of this, we would like to partner when the next opportunity comes. And it'll be either, the last notice of funding opportunity was for FY '25, and it was back in June of last year. So these things don't, sometimes DC, it slides back and forth, and it's not every year exactly. But it's coming. There'll be an opportunity coming sometime in the next several months. And so if we get in, go ahead and put our intent, our desire there with them, they'll know we'll be a good partner. And so, like Clyde said, it's not an immediate short-term thing like most federal projects are, but it would at least put us in line for this opportunity. And it's also, it's a bundled project, so it's not, if it ends up, if they tell us, hey, 2 bridges is great, they may say 4 bridges is okay. We'll see how that goes. It's up to them, they're the applicant, but they're open to working with us on it, so I think.
I guess the way it works, the more bridges that you present, the better chance of being.
There's an ideal number based on money, and that would be, MDOT would understand that. But it is a multiple bridge application. So what the benefit for them would be, they would submit an application that would have a variety of critical bridges that need to be replaced. They're gonna have their own on their system that'll be part of the project. And then there will be some county bridges in the application. That makes the application.
They could very well come back and say, hey, we got ours sitting in here, we got another $4 million we need to spend, or we got another 2.5 we need to spend.
That's right.
Send us some bridges. So what we like to do, like I had y'all do on the LSBP work, get them on the shelf,
That's right.
get them in front of them, kind of have them ready, so if they come down, we've got the resolution passed, we're already partnered, we're good to go.
And we're not talking about, this is, there's no fee, we're not talking about designing, we're just talking about the minimal work that we can do because of our institutional knowledge, putting that together and sending it to them with a resolution, so that when, like Clyde said, that funding information on the shelf with them, they know, hey, we got a good partner here, let's go this route. So we're not talking about spending any money, we're just talking about trying to get in a position to be able to.
So I guess the next step would be, again, if it's okay with the board, we'll draft a resolution that will get us in that loop and forward that to Mr. Carter, that he and Young are okay with that resolution, then we'll get that process started.
Is that resolution something where we recognize individuals to be a health and safety? I mean, is it?
Yeah, there'll be some work similar to that.
Poor condition is the key, and they're on the inventory right now in poor condition, so you're not, it's no, starting any revelation.
In fact, one of them was scheduled for closure, the big went out there and fixed it, repaired it, and we got it re-inspected, and it's open to
Is that
traffic.
the one that we got the pictures off of?
That's the one,
I think the bolt was missing in the deck or something.
Yeah,
like
yeah, that, and we had to cut out a section of
Yeah.
tile
Yeah.
and put it in, yeah.
So
One pipe on that bridge was rusted out, just one, half of that way, you know, but
quite honestly, the problem with the Bailey bridges, those metal bridges, is MDOT and their inspectors,
Hate them.
they hate it. They got no guardrail, but they don't know how to evaluate.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't know how to rate it. It doesn't fall in their standard system, it's not a cookie cutter, if it's this, and this, so they just make it, it's kind of like timber pipe.
And we'll put this in the memo, the process would be a resolution, probably some type of very informal meeting with NDOT, maybe with District 3, maybe with the 10th floor, maybe make the congressional delegation aware. And it's just that step-by-step process, so that we're in position when the opportunity comes, we're ahead of the line.
We need a motion then authorize them to draft a resolution.
I'll make that motion to draft resolution for the Bailey Bridge.
Motion by Supervisor Little, second by Supervisor Carver. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes.
Next item was the discussion on the local road safety plan. Mr. Carpenter has drafted a resolution on that for presentation at the June 1st meeting. He forwarded that to myself and to Jeff. We reviewed, it looks good to us. And what that'll do is open up, call it some free work from MDOT to look at safety conditions in the county and recommend some improvements. That could be modifying intersections, that could be signage, that could be a countywide striping project. It would be at their discretion to say, here's where we think you need to go first, and here's the areas we think you need to work.
Are you saying road safety from signage and stuff, and that's what this is, or just, I don't think so far outside the box? We're trying to make people safe on the road, right?
Correct.
Through signage and road conditions, and that's going to bring in the sheriff's department, but my only thing I would say, speeding is the number one thing that's not safe. So, I know y'all don't have a radar, and this is way outside the box, so correct me. If you put, the city would put in, your speed limit is 55 and you're popping up 75. You don't have a radar, but you got a machine that just scans somebody's excessive speeding. And so when we would do our road surveys, 10% are really fast, 10% are really slow, everybody else obeys the law. Does that allow you with LPR to say, this person is an excessive speeder I've got people that speed every day. They're running 90, 100 miles an hour on 50 miles an hour every day. It's the same two people. It's not everybody. We just said, we know you targeted as, I know that sounds so far outside the box, but the county, 5 counties in the state have a radar detection, from what I understand, 5 or 8 or something. Is that so far out of the box that I can't understand how to stop these people that are going to kill somebody one day on these roadways?
If you get to that level of speed, the deputy can pull them over and write them for careless. If they're doing 80, 90, I mean, that's, everybody can tell that. You don't need a radar gun to figure that one out. But as of right now, we can't use radar devices to enforce law.
I
because it hadn't been roaded yet.
Never mind. I just got one or two troublemakers, that's all it is.
So Sean, would maybe Ben say, hey, these folks are coming through at 7:45 in the morning or something?
Yeah, I mean, deputies can definitely be there based on that call and be sitting there, and if they come by them doing, I mean, you see somebody coming by doing 80, 90 miles an hour on 45, it's quite obvious that that's a careless manner.
We supported the sheriff's department and y'all's application to the state legislature again this year. It said we support radar devices. I know it probably never happened, but no, it's just, that's all. If you want to talk about road safety, that's the problem. It's just,
Maybe you ought to put one of those signs up and let the deputies sit about 500 feet from that sign and just watch it when they go by.
I don't think some people just don't care.
So as far as though, one of the real things that we've had good success with the local road safety, is the county, the restriping and signage of roads with the rumble stripe, you know, the thermoplastic edge white that has the rumble bumps in it. And so we've done a couple of big projects like that, and it's really good. It helps, it's really good for safety, run off the road safety, where when you get over on the white stripe, it gives you the bumps.
What's the minimum width you gotta have? I know I can't put it on the 20.
Pavement width, yeah.
They have the rumble strip on the side.
20 feet.
20.
We've got quite a few 20-foot, 22-foot roadways, but we've got a lot of edge work, you know, on them too. So it may be a situation where we want to do some edge repair or some repair work before we put that down. This is kind of the same program we used. If you remember, we used High Risk Rural Road to do the signal at Poorhouse and look at some other intersections along. Mark Thomas has got a lead on this program with MDOT. He's Octagon County native. A lot of you know Mark. And we worked with them before, same deal. They're not gonna move fast.
So-
But it's free and effective. So I didn't encourage you to pass that resolution.
So how does this work? Is it up on the board to come up with a list of areas in Octavia County that we feel are unsafe and present them, and then they come and inspect those areas?
They'll actually look at your data and come.
Okay, so
they'll
they'll
suggest.
down.
We're open to suggest, like we have in the past, like on County Lead Native, there at the service station where you and I worked. And, you know, that took a year or two, but they come in and worked on that. But
I don't think we've had an accident since.
we can offer input, but the beauty of it really is to get a third party to come in and just do an assessment. Say, here's what the crash data shows, here's what we see in there, here's where we think we need to do some improvement.
We need a resolution for that?
You're gonna have one on the first that
Okay.
Mr. Carter drafted up already. I just encourage you to go ahead and pass it so we can get that rolling too.
Okay.
The roadway condition report is just, you had a couple of proposals from Golden Triangle and from us about your LiDAR scanning this and that. Might want to better understand what you intend to do with that when you get it, or if you get it. I've kind of asked for years to let the engineer present to you which roads need work when and where, countywide. And we don't typically do that. So that's the only reason I'm bringing that up.
I wanna ask something since you brought that up, and this may be, all, guilt or whatever, but I know, we're all, trying to, work as a unit system, but we all do our own, stuff that's there. But I wanted to say, like, I was talking to somebody the other day, and anyhow, when they went to citywide, countywide, stuff where they would let they went with the engineer's recommendation on roads and stuff. When people in certain areas, were upset about their roads, they're able to get them together and the engineer will, sit down and explain why they have not, hey, we understand your road needs attention, but this is why we chose those. And anyhow, that has that helped calm the waves, you know, trying to, you know, if, you know, that's something we're trying to move into. I didn't know if that was an option, that when we have, you know, we have a lot of people that are on.
Certainly, and some of the other supervisors, Ms. Patty is for this, but I've encouraged for years to let us, being Richard, go into the county, do a countywide evaluation and come back and say, here's my opinion, based on engineer's opinion, road conditions, traffic, et cetera. I think you should work here, and here. Now, I can't tell you, as I said here today, that that's all in Supervisor Howard's district, or if it's scattered all over the county. But what that gives you is, as you go back to your constituents, it gives you an opportunity to say, look, we hire engineers to give us the best advice. And this is where he says he thinks we need to work, and that's what we're gonna do. But yes, I could go back and meet with your folks as needed and say, here's why we selected these. Yes, we recognize you've got need over there, but we've got to prioritize based on condition.
And you know, and I'm not saying, you know, every single, you know, complaint or anything, but you know, like if there's, you know, several of them, because I've heard that had really kind of helped, you know, some counties and cities
We
kind of
usually
settle
end up
down.
with the complaints
You know, with
anyway.
well, you know, when you have people come to you instead of us just, you know, saying, hey, you know, it's a funding issue, it's this issue, you know, we got another road over here that's bad. Well, nobody's road's worse than your own. You know, I mean, that's how, I mean, seriously, you know, whatever road I'm on, if it's terrible, that's the worst road. And I know that we have a lot of roads that need a lot of work in all of our districts.
I'll give an example. Supervisor Howard got a long suffering on Maiden Vale Road. There's no question. And I mean, this goes back to the first year I ever got appointed county engineer. If you will remember, my predecessor had led a reseal job in the county, had done the design work, with the contract. We came in, we went and looked at all these roads. I called the board in and said, look, we can't fix all these roads for what's on the contract. Supervisor Howard was on and said, take mine out, I'll fix it next time. Making Bell's been there. But if you ask me today, too, where we need to work, and I've said this in the board meeting before, South Creek Road is the one that's on the verge. It's kind of where we could work on it and maintain it and keep it right now, but if it goes unnoticed or without attention for another year or two, that 10, 12 miles of South Creek is going to turn into a major problem. So, you know, but that's the kind of report I could come back and give y'all. Y'all make the decision.
Well, I make a motion, we let the county engineer evaluate every road in the county and bring us back a report. That's his recommendation.
Now, is that something, now, the MDOT thing, they're not evaluating, they're just doing safety. They're just safety. And so yeah.
And Supervisor Planner would, I'm assuming that would be your paved roads?
Everything. The question of it is that my question, do we want the best roads of any county out there based upon the resources that we have? I would say we do. And there's only one way to do it. Find out what we need to do and do it. Now, I'm just asking you, Mr. Dunn, the counties you serve, which counties have the best roads that you can think of out of the counties you serve?
I can think of them. You want me to say?
I'm just, county.
Well, the ones with the most resources.
So, and counties like who? Which counties you serve?
Lamar.
Okay, so Lamar got more resources out there?
Well, that I don't know now.
I don't think
I'm not a financial analyst, but I'm just saying that resources are directly.
And I know that the lay of the land has a lot to do with it too.
Well, I was gonna say, keep in mind, Supervisor Planner, you're absolutely right. They got a lot better dirt down there.
That's very soil type is big. You're right.
But we
That's
can't
just like Lowndes County and Ottawa County. Lowndes County got bad roads on this side of the bridge and good roads on the other side of the bridge.
But your point well taken, but some of that varied with soil type.
Soil type.
Well, but I guess where I'm coming from is even though it doesn't matter what soil type you got, whoever's bidding that job out needs to know what soil type they're working. So they may have to dig down a little bit deeper. We may have to, you know, whatever we need to do if we got a bad soil type. I don't want to go in and say, okay, we're going to bid it, you know, like we bid them all.
We'll do that.
To where, you know, to where that road bed is laid, you know, the right way. Because we just keep spinning our wheels, keep throwing stuff on top.
And we'll absolutely do that, the point being that $100,000 on some of his dirt goes a lot further than $100,000 on some of our dirt, because of what we have to do.
Well, I can, we've been talking about bringing these other capabilities, LiDAR and stuff like
Yes.
that, in to help us with these type situations. So do we wanna just abandon that and just send the engineer out and start?
What's the status,
Evaluate the road.
what's the status of the roadway condition report?
I don't think we're ready for that type of changes in the way we're doing roads at this particular time anyway. Now, there are a person out there like some of the roads that you mentioned.
Yes, sir.
If those roads need some help, I'm sure that we would say, okay, I got some money that I'm not using over here, and I'd be willing to put some over here, and each one of us be able to do that. But to just say, well, this road here should have been more priority over some of the road based on what the engineers say. I mean, we're supervisors, we live in these districts, we should know too, whether these roads are at the stage of needing to be repaired also.
Yes, sir.
But we would have to build that, would we not?
I'm not
Whatever,
saying,
whatever it comes
I'm
back
not
with, we have
saying
to
that we
agree to
spend
that.
the money.
So,
I am not saying let me spend the money, I'm saying let me give you the information from an engineering standpoint, which roads need work and the extent of that work. The individual decision of where you spend it, to your point, Mr. Joe, is up to y'all, it's always up to y'all. But I'm just saying, give you some information to base your decisions on, with respect to the LiDAR supervisor.
Rather than a full-blown decision as such, you've already given us that information.
I'm
In
giving
terms
you
of what
the-
roads you think is out there that are in dire need of repair. Now, how do we go about doing it? Yes, if there are some funds available and we want to concentrate those funds on those roads that you just submitted, then I'll be willing to, contribute some funds, but still, I have some roads out here that you might not say that are in dire need of repair, but they are. And, but I'd like to be able to repair those also, but then to share some of my funds with those roads that you're talking about that are in dire need of repair.
I'm generally looking at the road y'all asked me to look at some point, either by estimate or, hey, can you come look at this? It's not been a countywide drive, everything. I'm still buying roads in the county, I didn't know about it. But to your question about the LiDAR supervisor, I agree too. But you're asking again, that's gonna show you rutting or divots or potholes or things like that that are obvious in the road. What you're not getting there is why that's occurred and should it be occurred? Or is that road got a soil cement base on it? Or do we need to take out the 4,000 feet of trees that are right on the edge of the pavement that's causing this problem? So it's a great tool, but I still think in the end, you're gonna need engineer level to take that, to evaluate and help you with. Hey,
well, I'm just saying that's a tool that can go along with
it will
physical
identify, but
inspections.
you're still gonna need that
Yeah, you
piece to stand up there and say, hey, here's what's happening, why, or, man, we just soil cemented this last year, this should not be happening.
But if we're gonna pay for LiDAR and stuff like that, why can't that go in with
It absolutely.
what you get? And that's all. I mean, even along with certain things, like, well, okay, this road scores 10 on the number that needs to be replaced, so it's just the most needed. But then you've got a road that scores an 8, but on that road, we've had 5 new homes that's been built. We've got 5 more lots that's been purchased on this road. So then, you know, those are things that needs to be factored, you know, so it's, to me, it's not just, okay, I go ride this road, this road is, you see,
No, no
there's
question.
factors.
You can look at the 182 corridor now, and I'm not just talking about how the 182 goes out past Clayton Village now, but you can look at that whole area, and with the aluminum plant, and with the next phase of aluminum plant, and with the steel mill, and there's no question, that's where things are fixing to happen. And they're happening now, whether we want to admit it or not, but they're going on. So, yeah, you got to put that personal factor in there.
Yeah, I think I'm with Clyde on the video LiDAR. I'm not sure, you guys can weight the importance of that and how you would use that, and I don't know how practical that really is. You guys.
Not practical.
So, but I think what we're talking about is very practical and very needed, an assessment tool for roads so that you guys, when you make decisions, long-term decisions about financing and funding, you've got that. Like you put the other factors in. I really think just part of what you're asking us to do, it's something that we need to do. And I think we need to figure out how to do it at minimal cost. And maybe it's, and Carl sitting behind the camera, they maybe get in front of the camera, but I don't know what we have now. I will say this, Carl furnished us kind of the keys to the GIS kingdom several weeks ago, and I'm very appreciative, and it's really impressive, the information that you already have on Kitahawk County in that GIS database. And there may have already been a scan or video of some of the roads. I have no idea. But we may already have, but with the institutional knowledge that we have already, we may can do this assessment without having to go spend a whole lot of money.
If you were to tell me, Supervisor Kramer, if you would say, get started. We do it similar to what we did with the small drainage stuff. We probably separate the county by district. Yours truly, and Willis Owens, and probably Clint Markham, and John Wicker's gonna get in trouble. We're gonna go ride the road. And a lot of the data we're talking about as far as length and width and all that, we've already got that now. We need to just, like we do your estimates, we need to go evaluate them and say, yep. The one that gets you is those roads again that I mentioned, I call it the tipping point, where if we do something now, we can kind of save this thing and it's in pretty good shape. We wait another year or two, we got a big time problem.
It sounds like a couple things. One, I think it's probably time to get Carl on board, just not from an IT perspective. He sat me down a couple times and has a plethora of vast amounts of information that I didn't know that the IT guy knows. I know you enjoy that. Maybe time to get ideas from him too. I always say this about this town and this community is you realize 55,000 people live here with probably 100 to 125 visit every day, but we're not capturing the taxes. Very few people out of 50,000, probably 25% of today's society pay taxes. Most people are either over 65 or under 18. These roads are getting hit. You need to look at population density, growing areas, major thoroughfares, which I think we're starting to realize that you may, they hire the steel mill in 45 counties, but 40% of the people live in Oktibbeha County. That's a lot coming in and out of that east side.
That's a corridor.
And I always ask who decides which road to pave in Oktibbeha County, and it's something like we've got to get it to a complete package of going, yes, I understand we're getting the tip, this road is at the tipping point. Those roads need to get addressed first. And then after that, you got all these political and socioeconomic factors, everything that goes, hey, we know this east side of this area. If we don't get ahead of this road now, we're fixing to do it. But I understand what you're saying. There's got to be one element.
What if we put together, nothing complicated, but what if we put together a memo that describes something that we're talking about?
That's gonna be put together criteria that you're gonna use.
Yes, for you
To
guys to
evaluate
see.
road for us to see.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's gonna be.
Again, what Clyde is talking about is the cost would be, the cost is minimal to us because of what we're already doing, what you're asking us to do with all these projects that we've talked about so far. So that's not the issue for us. It's doing something that's useful to you. Like Clyde, doing it in a way that it's useful for your decision making that's what we want to accomplish, but it's gonna help.
The other thing we can add to it very easily too is tell you what kind of funding these roads are eligible for. Whether you want them state aid eligible or LSBP eligible.
That's what I was,
Emergency
getting
road
to.
bridge.
A
Yeah,
few minutes
which
ago.
is gone away, but we can tell you this is I mentioned to Patty the other day, we was on that Chris Plain, it's actually a federal aid route, which is another potential funding source. Most of the federal money now, if not all, is going to bridge inspections, but that could be another option for this on.
So one thing I would suggest, and we're talking in our system of government, I don't care where the worst thing is, I not care, but I don't care if it's in my district or not. We need to have three that y'all come and say, this one, and then after that, we can divide the money up as a board. We've got to say, if they're gonna run the district, all three of them. I need to know where the worst three roads are, if it's mine, you know. We all think our roads are the worst, but I may have better roads than others, vice versa. If we had three that are really sticking out, y'all gotta do something, because we're the typical one, A, B, and C. Let's start with A, B, and C.
And to your point too about the social economics, you've heard me say too, supervisor planners try to get Crawford Road paved as long as I know.
What road?
Crawford Road, and that's a north-south route on the east side of the county that we don't have. It's
Yeah, you come down to the end.
yeah, that's a gravel road all the way through, but we pretty much got a east, west, north, south route on the other three sides. We don't have that, but that's a major problem.
Then you go back to which road is really important. When you look at, the Robinson Road. Robinson Road is the oldest road in October County. It used to be,
Yes, James.
Robinson traveled all the way from Tom Bigby, from one waterway to the other waterway in Natchez. That was the old Indian Trail. And Robinson used to be the city seat of October County. So there's still a road that is going, and you say from south to north. But Robinson travels from east to west,
Oh, I agree.
all the way to Lowndes County.
I agree. 100%. And we're doing work on that now. I'm just saying, when you look at this whole picture of things, there's a lot of things to think about.
But,
So then, that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
you gotta take everything in consideration. And then Robinson too, there's a lot of people living on Robinson Road. It is as dusty as I don't know what. Now, I would say, well, yeah, you're living on a hay road that is not as good. But which one would you really rather be living on? A dusty road? Or a paved road that's not as good? So how do you justify when you talk about importance,
What I would, again, what
one
I
being
would
more
suggest
important than the other?
is to give you an assessment of what it would take first on the paved roads to get them in condition, something you can rank those by, look at the gravel roads also, and then that decision of where you want to spend your money is 100% up to y'all.
Well, I think, Supervisor Little's suggestion is a good one, help the board make those decisions. But that's why I was wanting some sort of criteria, because if you look at Crawford Road, yeah, but do you wanna make that the number one priority, just to say you got a eastern side, north-south route, as opposed to there's another road where a bunch of people live on that travels home? So you know, what criteria do you use to put Crawford Road, which doesn't have people on it, over a road that's, you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what the board says.
Yeah, and that's what I'm
The
saying.
board would step in, what I'd wanna do is say, if you do this, here's what it's gonna cost you.
Well, the board can just set the criteria. Just set the criteria. They take-
Let us put something together for you to look at, nothing complicated.
Yeah.
With the criteria we're all talking about, so that you know, hey, if we commission this is what we're gonna get, it'll be a useful tool. And if, you know, you don't wanna do it, if it's not gonna be a useful tool, but we can easily.
Is there a graph, so the biggest question I've learned say in the first term, people call and say, I need to get my pay raise. My thing I've learned, we can't maintain what we've already got paid, so why would we go out and continue furthering out? And that's kind of what we're talking about. Is there a way to look at how many houses on the road that are unpaved? A gravel road is the most, there's a way to tie
Oh,
yeah.
we have that.
and rate the unpaved roads with the most homes on it.
I think that the criteria we're talking about, that could be part of it. The data that you have, we can do now, what we don't have will limit us, but you have a lot of information, including institutional knowledge. So, like I said, I don't think it'd sure be great if you had this really high-tech scan and all that, but I don't think you need that to do what you're talking about. You may want to advance to that at some point when you see there's 3 or 4 other good uses for that kind of data in your normal operation, but like to do what we're talking about now, let us put together what we're talking about.
And I may have had LADAR and GSI mixed up.
Well, we know the GIS data that you have is extensive. The LiDAR and scan information or video, do we have anything countywide? Has that ever been done countywide, Carl?
Not countywide, we just did some pockets here, there.
So there are some pockets. So there may are some of that data we may could use if it's useful, but we're saying we can use the GIS data you already have along with the institutional knowledge that we have to do something useful, I think.
With the data we got and some, I call it fresh road miles on me and my staff, we can give you what you want.
And at minimal cost, because it's necessary, a lot of that is necessary for what you're already asking us to do anyway. You know, to do a good job and to help you sit here and plan.
Yeah, because I already feel like, you know, the gravel roads versus the paved roads, what Supervisor Carter said, we really need to get the paved roads that we have paved brought back up, you know, up to standard, up to where, you know, you don't have, you're dodging potholes or else you're sinking your car in. You know, I get calls, you know, all the time, I pick up, you know, big holes in the road, and we just need help deciding which way to move forward, but we need all the information so we can all make a decision.
Jeff keeps talking about the East Lansing Institution on Island, but another example of that would be Longview Road. Most of the traveling public doesn't realize that Longview Road was the precursor, basically a base and seal for a future paving project. It would go from Highway 12, top, across, Poorhouse, all the way to Loudon County. So, you know, those things all need to be factored in. Now, I know y'all get the call that says, that all you gonna do? Well, that's all we're gonna do right now. That's what we got. Next item I have was.
Mr. President,
That's right, you got a motion.
I've been doing it my way for 26 and a half years, so I'm gonna try something different, so I'll probably, if the board allows me, just let you look at my district and some other one wanna do that, and let you give me some recommendations. And I'm not saying I did a bad job, I did the best I could, but I think I owe it to the taxpayers to see if there's a better method out there than what I've been doing.
I'm happy to do as much or as little as the board wants to.
I think you did a great job around it. There's technology, like I wanna know, I'll tell you the congressional delegations go, and they understand that this county is not just the growth. All the factors don't have to be in this county. People don't live here, they commute in and out. And so people haven't grown up going around the road and over here, there's people that are building neighborhoods out in the middle of nowhere just because they expect the road to get paved or something. I mean, it's just amazing. When you go down, people have $1 million houses.
Most when I was riding the Vice and the Tesla and some of this other stuff, I'm coming up on stuff all the time in the county. I said, where did that come from?
Yes.
I see it every day.
Yeah.
Have no idea what it's from.
Yeah, where did that come from? In the night.
People don't think anything else. It used to be a 7-mile drive a long way. Now people, hey, if I got to drive 15 miles, and I would drive 15 miles to gravel, it's town.
Well, I mean, and my decision making has always been the most popular. I've always focused more on my thoroughfare roads because I've always had the idea, yeah, you may grumble a little bit to drive that quarter of a mile over to that thoroughfare road. But once you get that thoroughfare road, you smooth sailing all the way to where you wanna go. And when you come back, yeah, you grumble a little bit to drive that quarter mile back to your house. And that's why I've concentrated on Maven Bell so much. That's a thoroughfare road that brings people from one western end of the county all the way over to the eastern end of the county. And so my concentration over the years has mostly been on thoroughfare roads. Whenever I could branch off and do one, but that was my criteria.
Pretty solid.
Way of doing things. So. But like Supervisor, great suggestion to come up, because that would help the board make better decisions. That would help the board explain more to the voting public as to why decisions are being made and the cost of making these decisions and things like
And
that.
your
So,
point with that, we don't mind stepping up and defending our decision or recommendation or why we put this road at that level.
Well, just some of the other people that I've talked with said that people may not have liked it, but they understood it and knew that everybody's being helped and they're gonna get the help they need. It's just maybe not right this minute, but it's coming.
Yeah, we won't mind coming to the table with what we hand y'all to defend our work.
That would make sure Mr. is incorporated in this. Y'all got another line of communication. You got another line of communication for
Like I said, I'll reiterate, Ben, the information that Carl shared with us, it's all open source. We've used it extensively in the last few weeks. It's excellent. We very much appreciate what he's done with that. And I don't know the history of some of it, and I don't want to misspeak. It may all have been acquired by somebody else, but it's been put together really well, so very useful.
So, quick comment on that. Over the last couple of meetings, you guys have been inching towards basically a 4-year road plan that's project-based with priorities. And what you're talking about is a prioritization by an engineering prioritization, a road manager prioritization, a supervisor prioritization, and you may have another automated tool level, like baselining with LiDAR, that comes in as another form of prioritization. When you put all that together, I provided some statistics to Wayne a couple of weeks ago where we categorized all the roads, mileage, type, condition, whatever we had available, by supervisor district, by funding source, by different ways of looking at it from planning and development. The thing that was missing from all that are these prioritizations, and the main one being your engineering prioritization. If you have that, what you have is a 4-year road plan that basically builds itself. And then you guys get to tweak it when you meet. And we're missing the engineering prioritization, and we're really missing the road manager prioritization. You guys already know what your prioritizations are. All right. So we put all that together in a list, top down, and you have your 4-year road plan, you have your 1-year road plan, you have your current project plan. It's all clear. It's available. It's however you want to publicize that to the public. It's now visible. Right now, all that exists. It's just not very visible. Like Clyde, for instance, knows what you should be working on in theory. You guys know what you want to be working on. What funding source is available. All that, you have to struggle to get that information. So we have all this great information. It's just not very usable right now. Just making it more visible and more usable, I think, is where we're headed.
I think, like you said, if it was packaged to where it was very readily accessible, we'd use it a lot more.
I think we can do that.
I'm concentrating greatly on gravel roads. And gravel roads are okay as long as we don't live on them. And I don't think neither one of us, maybe one or two, maybe living on gravel roads. But we said it's not important that we pay them, but chances are we are not living on gravel roads, and we don't desire to live on one. Many individuals come to this courtroom, they're not complaining about roads that are already paved. they're complaining about roads that are gravel or dusty. They talk about the dust being in their home, and they talk about the allergies that are associated with it. So, to me, it is important that we work as hard as we can to eliminate gravel roads in Octavia County. Now, this is Octavia County. This is not some other county that doesn't have the resources. Octavia County has the resources to be able to eliminate some of the roads in Octavia County. When we think about Robinson, I mentioned that earlier, and we said we're working on it. We're not.
Well,
We're working on the paving.
the Mohave Road.
Yeah, you working on the Mohave
Right.
Robinson Road.
Yes.
But we talking about Robinson Road, the gravel part of Robinson Road. And that road got embankment that's this high, and many individuals are living on it. There are many individuals living on Robinson Road, and they are trying to travel in this thoroughfare road. It's going all the way to Lowndes County. And we're not concerned about that, but and let Lowndes County worry about that, but we should be concerned about the section that is in Octavia County.
Yes, sir.
Those
I
individuals
don't
should
believe
not-
I've ever done an
They should
estimate.
not be living, and that should be taken into consideration when we talk about factors. When we talk about factors. Those individuals should not be living on that road. If some of you all travel sometime, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. You will say, no, I wouldn't want to live here. And neither one of us want to live in a road as such. Well, gravel roads then, we say that, well, we don't need to pave gravel roads. Well, some of us lived on one of them, I did at one time. And I didn't like it. I worked as hard as I could to eliminate it. And there are other individuals out in the county who are also working as hard as they can to eliminate the gravel roads that they live on, because those roads are making them sick with all the dust that they have to deal with daily, and the dust that's flying in their house daily. So when we think about prioritizing roads, in my opinion, and that might not be important for some supervisors, but it is important for the people that I talk to, people that I talk to daily. That's important to them. That we eliminate as many gravel roads as we possibly can. And that should be taken into consideration when we start prioritizing roads.
Supervisor, we might do this, and I totally understand. I'm one of the supervisors that lived on the gravel road up until about 7 years ago, and have been on the board about 12, 14 years. Before my little stretch of road. But my point was this: I would have really been upset if I had to drive that little short gravel road and then get on a thoroughfare and beat my car up all the way to where I'm going. That was my point in saying I wasn't saying I'm not concerned about gravel roads. Absolutely, I'm concerned about gravel roads, but it's a double whammy if I got to drive a little short gravel road and then get on to a Supervisor Little point, not maintain what we already got, and that thing got to beat me up all the way into where I'm trying to go because we hadn't stopped and taken time to take care of what we already got that's falling apart behind us. So listen, I totally get it. We're sitting here because of voters, and there's no way that you're gonna ever, when you're doing your decision making, not consider your voters. I mean, self-preservation is real, because the voters are gonna tell you, well, I didn't vote for the engineer, I voted for you. So you're gonna hear all of that. But we've got to be able to make decisions, use everything that's disposable to us to make good decisions, and then be able to defend those decisions that we make.
That, it's a great example because if Robinson Road is a priority for Supervisor Williams, what he needs to know, and what y'all need to know, what will it take to grade, drain, and pave Robinson Road? That starts with the estimate, which we've done on Coffin Road for years and years and years, because that was one of the supervisor's trainers. But that's where that would come in. I mean, first thing we do is say, hey, let's figure out what it's gonna cost if he does it, y'all do it or not.
Comments were made about small roads. Robinson is not a small road. It's not a short road. And Robinson is also a state aid road.
Understood.
So this is not a road that we just said, well, it's not important.
And I think all those things would be in the matrix so that you would be able to see that in this assessment.
Right.
To your point.
Well, I think what's that, because again, self-preservation, the conversation is going back around to personally what I want in my district, and nothing is wrong with that. I didn't use a short road to say, well, it's not important. I just use that as an example. I think, Carl really said it best. We've got to get engineering priorities, road managers priorities, funding priorities, the board's priorities, and then mesh all of that together and make good decisions. That's basically it. This is not a conversation you sort of start, because, you know, I can jump up and stand up here and say, well, the road I want done is the most important road. We all know we all vying for our residents up here on this board, and that's what we're here to do. But we've also got to make, you know, try and make good decisions that's going to benefit as a whole to most people in my district. And, you know, over the years, it's been thoroughfare road. So that's kind of, you know, we understand.
So, as I stand now, I got supervisor trainers asked me to look at his. I'll say this, I don't know what the rest of it is going to do.
I'd like to make a motion for all of us to do it, because then we can come back and we all can decide. That's, y'all putting that together does not take any decision making away from the board.
No.
It's just understood.
All we're trying to do is give you information to make a better decision.
So
Or
is
defend your
this to assess the whole county? Is that what
The
you
whole county.
want done
To
right now?
everybody's road, paved and gravel, to let us know which ones are the worst, because, you know, if the gravel road's terrible and our road department can go out there and you have some suggestions on, hey, maybe we need to do this drainage, maybe we need to do that, and we can make those gravel roads better until we can do something different for them. I know that, you know, that was, you know, that would greatly help, you know, everywhere we're going, because we just need some guidance to get everybody on the same page to get our roads as best as we can get them with the money we got. Gravel and paved.
We understand, okay. But there's so many factors, y'all. I'm trying to think of one off of Chapel Hill, but which one is it's got the little one-lane bridge that's been in there forever?
That's a railroad spur.
Railroad spur. It's got a little bridge that's big enough for one car. So when we look, we got to kind of factor all that kind of stuff in. You know, I don't think a 22-foot road coming into a one-lane bridge, you know, if we're gonna do it, let's do it right, and that's what it's gonna do. That's the kind of stuff we would try to put together.
But would y'all mind though, sort of coming back and say, this is the criteria we're gonna use?
Yeah.
The motion would be for us to provide you that.
Yeah, I think
Yes,
so.
yes.
Because I
You know
would
what
want
you
an
To provide
assessment
the
just on the
criteria for the
condition.
whole county.
Yeah, just the condition of the road, as opposed to the example I made. Yeah, this road ranks 10, but then this road ranks 8, but you've got all of these houses and some people being built here.
Let us give you the criteria.
Okay.
Yeah, give criteria first before we
Let this be authorization
move
for us to
forward.
provide you that. And then then you look at that and you decide to tweak that or go.
Sounds good. So the motion would be to authorize our engineers to come back with the criteria for grading roads and not do
For the whole
all
county.
that. Motion by Supervisor Little, second by Supervisor Moore. All in favor? Supervisor Thomas? You vote is unanimous. Mr. Carter, you made it back, apparently went well.
I was gonna say, you heard the old saying, blind in one eye and can't see eye.
Yeah.
I never knew what that meant till now. I can see pretty good far off in this eye, but I can't wear the glasses to get this one just right, and I can't read nothing, so I don't know what I'm gonna do.
All right. So we are working down the agenda right now, and we made some decisions. We've just identifying projects is what we're doing, and we want to allow these projects to go through the process of.
Well, and that's good, we'll get Clyde and Dick to do their, I don't know if Clyde will go through the exercise of doing sharpening his pencil and doing a really good estimate, but an initial estimate so we can know how much they cost and start planning for our bond money, which I'm hoping, I got a bunch of documents in yesterday on that.
Absolutely. Supervisor Carter.
While we got everybody here, and I'm talking about this, when you're coming down Maven Sturgis, there's a Neely Road cutoff. I get a lot of calls about it, where it is, coming up in a big curve. And that road veers off, and people are hitting it both ways coming out. A lot of that neighborhood calls, but all that road has to do is come to a T and stop. This Neely Road, look at where Neely Road.
Neely Road intersection,
We did that.
and two of
Sturgis made that today.
We looked at it, from what my understanding, the person that lives on that corner would give right away to, change that intersection up a little bit.
Smooth it up,
Well, no,
get line of sight better.
what it does, it makes an angle into it. And people that's coming out and even never stop. They run out into the traffic on Sturgis Maiden Road and almost cause accidents. And I think what we would like to do is make it a T intersection.
We'll take a look at that.
Okay.
Did you get with, Clyde about
Lean is good on that one,
We're still working on Vado and Chicago.
where they come out of there and.
Vado makes a big move down the hill.
I know, but I've got to try to get that passable for them. Because when it rains, they're either home or and stuck or they're wherever they're stuck.
Yeah, I talked to an old fellow in his garden out there on the other end of it one day about how big a rain it takes for him to be stuck. Not much.
Not much.
Last two things I had really was I mentioned the wastewater feasibility study. And Jeff's visits, sitting in, listening to conversations, looking at work we're doing on private projects out there. There's no question we got wastewater challenges in the county. He's taken his team and started looking at some possible solutions to that. That's for the extent it's been no cost to y'all, it wasn't authorized by y'all, it was just something, he said, this is a problem in the county and we need to start looking about how to fix it. So I want y'all aware of that. It's gonna take conversations with, because of the players, you got MSU involved, you got City of Saltville involved, you got, because of that, there's gonna have to be some conversations. But he's got an excellent team putting together what could turn into an overall wastewater solution for the county. And I just, before that comes in the backside to you somewhere, I want you to know that they've been active in pursuing that at no cost.
So we know what we got staring us in the face immediately. I'm sure you're looking at that, but also is this you're gonna be looking at something that's gonna address our Tillamook County?
Yes, sir, the whole thing.
Okay.
The entire county, they've done this before in other counties.
Okay.
And I've shared with them the conversations about how you remember when Joe Max called the big sewers summer. Supervisor Howard once said, Joe, that sounds good over there, but we got the entire Tillamook County we need to deal with. And that's the way that they're looking at it. Anything gonna require money, funding, probably grant application. It'll be a phased approach, but at some point, we'd like to come back to present the concept and the idea of how this would be put together. And again, this is just kind of FYI, we're working behind the scenes to try to help y'all.
And do y'all have that grant writing ability or help to do that with wastewater?
And that'd be part of what we're trying to do, is put together what those options and scenarios are. I mean, it doesn't do any good to know what something may cost, or feasibility means you know the cost and how it can be accomplished. So that's what we're working on. And it'll be one of those things. There'll be lots of conversations about it, honestly, as you all decide what you need to do and how you need to move forward. We just want to try to put together a tool to help you start thinking about it based on the vast amount of information we have. Again, that's been very helpful in what we've done, and also just some experience in some other places.
So I would think there'll be a point in time when I'm gonna approach the board and say, look, we got something we'd like to show you on wastewater, and it will be in a format that understand how it be put together, explain how it's put together. And again, some of these conversations will be having with MSU and other folks also to make sure that there's not, big glitch in there that we don't want.
That's great. When you got something already put together, then that gives you an opportunity to start lobbying your state, your federal, and this is what the plan is, and this is.
This is no surprise to some of it, but you've got millions sitting out there right now, waiting on wastewater. I know Wayne's got a big subdivision that come through for a permit the other day, but we've got future work, we've got to work out on 182 that we've been talking to, the old Triangle Drywall project. There is a ton of development out there that's sort of handcuffed over wastewater. Last thing I had was simply, y'all have had discussion about county jail. Just wanted to let you know that we personally work with Benchmark and some of these firms on jail sites. We work up at Lee County right now in the new jail they're doing behind the sheriff's department. Some of you remember years ago when the city wanted to relocate the police department. We worked with Gary Schaefer on trying to find sites and evaluate them, but your infrastructure is going to be a big deal as to where it goes. And just to let you know, we've got some experience in there. If you start looking at these sites, happy to help you on some of that too. Most of the folks that come to you, talk to you already, we work with. That's all I got.
Did y'all happen, I'm sorry I missed it, I don't want to rehash it if you did, the, safety study?
We did. I told
Okay.
Wayne, I shared with them that you prepared a resolution.
Yeah, it'll be on June first.
Jeff and I reviewed it, and we encouraged them to pass it at the June 1st meeting. And on the other action we've really taken is to get them to sign that state aid order for the Ogden Road Bridge, so I sent that back to state aid.
And we're gonna send you a federal bridge program. We'll send you, they asked us to send you some information for possibly a resolution on the competitive highway bridge program. So we'll send you an email.
Well, that's gonna have to be.
No hurry.
The next meeting in June then.
Yeah, no timeline.
Because I got to try to wrap that,
Yeah.
put that more wrap.
Just something they asked us to do, but there's no rush.
It will be,
You hadn't did it yet.
yes, we have bid it, but we'll send this board order to state aid. That will release the contractor to get his contracts together and his bonds together. We got to get all that to state aid. They'll issue a letter of concurrence, which will prompt the notice to proceed. It'll be a month and a half at best.
Well, whenever the contractor rests y'all, tell them to let me get my barricade that we put on that thing out there. We put a little money into them. A lot of times they go in there and just pull them up.
Well, that's a good point, because it's there, but we'll have a pre-construction, and I'll make sure you get an invite to that. And do y'all want me to stay for a big part of this?
If you don't mind. Before we leave from engineer, I think he updated us on the project, but his Is there any other project that anybody has any questions about?
Just out of curiosity.
Yes, sir.
And I don't wanna take anything away from road construction, bridge construction, or anything like that. But individuals is concerned about health in the county as well as they're concerned about health habits in the city as well. But they don't, our residents in the county is walking on the road,
Yes, sir.
which sometimes create a dangerous situation for individuals who are out there walking. What I'm saying to you is there's some funds that are just sitting there, just wishing that someone would apply for it. Not to take away from road construction, anything like that. But there are some funds, I'm sure, that are there for a healthy county, so to speak. Individuals who are concerned about walking and maybe high blood pressure or something like that, and the doctor's telling them to walk, or telling them
Be
to
very
exercise.
similar to what the popular program a few years ago was Safe Routes to School, where there was MDOT funded federal money to do sidewalks and this and
Right.
that. Wasn't necessarily geared to health, it was a safe route, but I understand what you're
And
saying.
it might be just some funds just sitting there, waiting for someone to ask for them.
And you wouldn't take it, would you?
Yeah, I would take it. I would take it. But I guess what I'm saying to you, would you look into that as a possibility, to see whether there are just some available funds that are just out there that, the state is wishing that someone would apply for, or some type of agency is wishing to facilitate that type of project.
Mr. Duncan got two good friends called Claude and Brock. He'll feed that into the computer and get some input.
That local road safety plan that you guys are requesting, will be another good tool with that. Having that done, the Safe Routes to Schools program, having that plan done will be a good lead in as well to pedestrian safety and that kind of thing.
And I remember back here a few years ago, I don't know how that came about biking.
Right.
Remember that? Was
Big push for bike routes and sidewalks and stuff like that. You know, we looked at that both ways, Mr. Joe. I mean, the funding source needs to be right, because it's hard to pull away from a bridge that's closed
Right, I
to do a
understand.
bike pass.
I understand, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. And we just got some funding sources out there that we can tap on and not interfere with roads and bridges.
Correct.
Mhm.
Yes, sir. Anybody else? Good meeting. Thank y'all.
All right, Mr. Collins, you up?
Well, I don't have a whole lot, it's just, I've got projects that have been brought to my attention and that we're working on getting getting all the information and the cost, basically, estimate. Basically, District 1, Longview 8, we looked at it, wrote it, got a pretty good baseline of what we need to do. I hadn't got my final cost because I was back in there the other day and I actually seen some other stuff that I need to do. But it's gonna consist of several different phases. Starting at the paved end on the south side of New Light Road, it needs to be a reseal done on it. It's in pretty good shape now, but it's starting to show its age, and some of the actual numbers, the seal code is actually beginning to want to release itself. So, and that's about 2,900 feet. That would just require reseal. Then we moved to the north side of New Light Road on that same road. It was some work done on that, base work done. That base work wasn't the best. It's got some failures that'll be from the New Light to the bridge. I said several failures. That is gonna take some actual going in and doing some overlaying spots to get those places. The base is still okay, but it's just, it's unlevel. It didn't settle before they paved it, or they didn't do a good job of packing, whatever. It's gonna be it needs to be resealed, but it needs to be some work done on it to get it ready for reseal. Go to the north side of the bridge on that road. That needs to be ground up all the way around the ground road and redone. And it's some cross drains in there that's gotta be replaced. I know 2 or 3, and that needs to be done before we start to work on it. Then moving on to above ground, I think we can go back in there and do some repair work and then reseal the whole project. That's what I'm looking at on that. And with that, I need to get some more numbers together. Part of it, replacing the cross drain will be maintenance, but the rest of it will be in that price.
What about Sykes and Seal?
That's already, we just waiting on the funding for that. That's already a done deal. We already got the numbers and everything on it, so as soon as the money hits the ground, we can hit the ground running on it. And that was all we talked about. Is there anything else?
You see those barrels, y'all still gotta come from those cross drain repairs, the barrels or something like that?
Yeah.
Somebody run out today and pick out, throw it down, just post construction, clean it.
All right.
I would add one thing, just as y'all were trying to think about how you gonna fund them, how you gonna get them done. I know big plate's full, but you've got particularly Pittman Construction under contract in the county to do very similar to the work what they're talking about. There's gonna be soil cement mixing, they're gonna be putting in some pipe, they're gonna be sealing, they're gonna be doing this and that. We determined a long time ago, if it's similar scope of work, you could change order into their contract if it's something that would take a load off of big and the funded works for you. It would have to be a change order. Pittman don't care if it's in District 2 or District 5. And I've already talked to them, and they said they'd be happy to take anything y'all threw at them.
How long will he be under contract?
They're trying to start now, probably, once they mobilize and start with all they got to do for them, they'll probably be in here 6 to 8 weeks. You know, but all the things
They'll
they're
come
talking
back.
about doing.
Yeah.
They've got the equipment, they're gonna be here, so if it's a deal where it's say, hey, let's go let Big work somewhere else, if Pittman will do it for this month, we'll let them have it.
And that's where, when I do my assessment, if that's what you wanna look at, that may be something that we can, that Clyde will go in and assess that same road and then compare, and that may be something that we can very well do for about the same money. Otherwise, other than you don't pay the county works to work and you don't pay the equipment to do the work, other than that, but it may still come in at the same scope.
It may be a time and resources thing, where
Yeah.
you just need him to work somewhere else, and these folks are sitting here ready to go. I'm not promoting or demoting, I'm just saying that might be an option for you.
I think we need to use that road grinder, and that's something we can
Yeah,
say.
now that Sykes and Seal, that's no problem, we got that. We're gonna go in there and grind that Sykes and Seal up and add a little soil cement material back in it to make it reset, and we'll handle that, that's not a big, but the other one I was talking about, that Longview 80, that may be something that,
Outsource it and.
Yeah, well, let's look at
It's
it.
available to you,
Yeah.
and it stands, it's legit.
I I'm not trying to get rid of the work, I'm just saying, let's look at it from both options.
What we said too, though, some of these roads that are at the tipping point, if they need to be outsourced, it's a time constraint.
Well, I mean, it just, it helps, that makes, it gets it done a little bit faster, is basically what I'm saying. And so it wouldn't hurt to look at it from both options and see, that's my suggestion, but now, I'm just giving you my suggestion, and Clyde gave you his, and the rest of it is on you.
I'm just saying this is available.
Yeah.
And that might
I
be
think
an
you need to take
option.
advantage of it. Because you can just about tell how much it would be per square foot to come in and just do a reclaim and.
We've got unit prices in the contract for the reformation and the reseal and this and that. If there's an individual pipe, they'll price that separately. We added 3 pipes on one of yours the other day. So, but we've got unit prices, we just know the length, and they're willing to do it, we can tell you about what it's gonna cost.
But you need to move forward with that longevity, because what's gonna happen is time value of money has been eating us up for years. The longer we wait to do stuff, I know y'all wanna get a lot of free money, but free money really costs you more because you have to wait for it. And then it's so competitive, man.
You know, I'm tickled to death if it wants to do it, I'm just.
I'm not ready to do it, but I'm not running away from it.
Well, I think at the end of this, once we identify all these projects and they put the pencil to them, see what money is out there and let us know time frame. First of all, yeah, according to your project list and your funding, yeah, you'll be able to do it all. I know you won't be able to do all of it, you gotta take something out. And once we get that part determined, then we get a schedule on then this option you're talking about, man, that's gonna be a while before. But I've got this option, I can send them on, go ahead and, you know.
Correct.
So,
I just want you to, again, know that's available to you, and we've done it before. We added some roads in the last bond project, y'all had along at the last minute. So went in, boop, they were there, and we got them done, gone.
And I guess to, what you gave us is an initial estimate, which I don't know how much it costs associated with that.
Doing the estimate?
Initial estimate, yes.
What I have historically done, I'm glad you brought that up.
Right.
What I have historically done is not charge this county for estimate.
Right. Until
If it materializes into a project, we absorb that into our fee for the project. Now, if y'all do estimate, look at 100 of them and nothing comes out of it, we might have to talk. But historically, I've not billed the county for producing that.
So that's the reason I said that project would be one that you might wanna, you jump in and ride it right quick and you say, well, okay, I can do it, we can do it for this. And you may see something that I missed, but I know that the end from the bridge coming towards Brown Road it's coming apart. And it's got 2 or 3 covers in that section right there. And that's a good thing about having it's gotta be ground up. It's got 3 covers in there that gotta be replaced. One of them we patched on, one of them the bottom is laid out of, there's one that ain't settling down. And then I think we're gonna have to try to get some easement to get out there on private property and try to open that ditch up where that pipe won't hold water. And maybe look at going with the concrete pipe instead of steel pipe.
There may be some areas, Vic, on that one that actually didn't get cemented because there wasn't enough cover over the pipe.
Well,
Mixing
and
problem.
that could be.
And I think there was some sections
Yeah.
that actually skipped.
Well, that section of road has been there ever since I was the one ran the chip spreader and put the, it's never been anything done to it since it's been paid in the first round.
Okay.
All right, looking for a motion.
I don't think
So,
I need to get some more figures and everything done, and then actually, I got some stuff I want to try to ride with Clyde, and let him take a look at, and maybe, we come up with a better game plan.
And what we'll do, talk a little bit about process, is Vic will do a project initiation form.
Yes.
He'll describe scope of work, he'll identify the labor, the equipment, the materials, and we'll have that estimate, and I'll bring that before the board for a formal vote. And that'll just help me and Dee keep track of what's been actually approved, funded, what we're paying for, how we're paying for it. And it'll really help us out as if we manage it in a more formal manner. Try to keep track of all of it. Ma'am?
Yes, Lord.
And Vic, I would remind you in your estimating, this board and you have expressed a desire to try and do surveys on these projects and get the locations of these roads nailed down.
Yeah.
Please include just a little bit of money in there for your surveying and limited design costs.
Okay.
Justin, who's in my office is working on driveway surveys.
Mhm.
And you tell him which one you're looking at, he can give you a pretty good idea of what he's gonna have in it to get the survey in the right way.
Now, that one we just got through talking about is already county road, is.
I'm just telling you,
Yeah.
somebody going.
Now, it's some of those new projects, we definitely need to
He
do
can
that.
give you a number to plug in for that.
Okay. All right, supervisor trainer, what we have on you is, the only thing so far is just, and we, is the, Rock Hill Road. And, I've got that, funding amount here. We just get, all we need to do is just take a look at it and get that initiated. I have form for that, but let me get them all together and I'll turn them over to Wayne in a package, and then he can bring them before the board and everything is done. So, yeah. All right, District 3. We looked at, Bunton. We did a little bit of reclaiming on it. We looked at Walter Bell, on a little short section of it, overlay. That's pretty, and then I went and looked at, West Weed. All right, let's go to Bunton and Walter Bell. That's something I don't think it's just a few days work for us. I don't think, and I'll get you we'll get initial cost on those two. West Reed. My suggestion on West Reed would be a overlay. Because, and the reason I'm suggesting that is because we've got a lot of unlevelness in our pavement that an overlay would smooth up. And that truck we ride in, if it's an unlevel place in there, that's what I like about that truck. It'll find it. It'll let you know it's unlevel. And so, even starting at the fire station, there's a lot of, I don't even know if I'd overlay that without grinding it up. It's so unlevel. It's got voids in it. The base seems to be good, but it's just voids. The base on West Reed is good. It's so unlevel. It needs to be level. And overlaying is the only thing that's going to actually bring some levelness to it.
I'll add that into the scope of work and get some numbers on it.
Okay.
And a lot of these, again, a lot of these roads I'm trying to catch at the slurry seal stage of it, which goes back to what we were discussing earlier about this other product.
And the reason I'm saying on West Reed, slurry seal is not going to
level.
level.
Slurry is not West Reed. No.
And chip seal is not going to level.
Yeah.
And then I would like to, I don't know how to look at that from the fire station around there to the church. That thing has got tons of asphalt that's been put in there, but it's never been leveled. It was for a minute, but it gave up. And it may be some base failure going on underneath that's letting it, but it's just like a roller coaster around there. And we got the machine to grind that thing up, even if we have to grind it up down deep and open it up. And it really needs something other than just going in there and put a patch over the top of it.
Well, that's one of my major thoroughfares.
Yes, and so I know we got that bridge project that covered project that's going that take place in now, but but in the meantime, it's something. It needs to make that a good road. Like I would want to ride on.
yeah, I think overlay would fix it, and then coming in and fixing that part at the start of that. And I think that's all we looked at, on you at right now.
On we looked at the Walter Bell, we knew that was a couple of little repair bases.
Okay, Hubbard Road.
Hubbard Road,
Yes.
yeah, I think that one was one we looked at as far as maybe slurry seal or overlay.
Yeah.
I mean, slurry seal on that. I think we've got, and you can get with Vic on this. I think Walter Bell, did I?
Yeah, you
Slurry seal.
you said
Fixing a few places.
Fixing a few places.
And maybe was it
Wade Road.
Wade Road.
Yes.
Would be a good one.
For
Got
slurry
a few
seal.
places.
I've got a couple of covers that were cross-trained that had been replaced. I think we can go in there and fix that, or either, however, you and I need to get together and ride it and just, and kind of put our heads together.
We'll just plan a day and ride.
Yeah.
Lift up and we'll ride.
And so, Wade and Walter Bell and Bunton. And like I say, Bunton is something that we can take care of, and a little bit of overlay on Walter Bell is something that we can take care of. There's one bad spot in there we need to go in there and dig out or either ground out and fix, but I think we can take care of that in-house. And the rest of them, Clyde and I'll get with him and we'll take a look at it, and I'll take his suggestions on what we may need to do on it. Ms. Pat, we looked at several roads. All right, now, we had talked about doing a paving project on John Star. I need to get a survey done on that, so we can actually know what we're doing. I think that's most of all school land in now, but I guess if we're doing it wide, we really need to get a survey done and consult with them. All right, and then next, we got Palace Drive, Shuri Lane, Knight Arms, King Arms, London Way, Colonial Road. That's all in that subdivision.
Which subdivision is that? I'm trying to.
That's down South Montgomery.
Okay.
I think they call it Colonial Arms or something like that. But I may be saying it wrong.
Oh, Eastman back up in there?
No. Right
On the
off,
side of the road.
on the other
Okay,
side
I
of
know
the
what
road.
you're talking about.
All right, those roads are in pretty good shape. They got a bunch of grass that we need to go in and shave off, just like we did when we did that overlay on the other side, to get the road back out to where it was. And we can do that two ways, and I'm gonna give it to you in two ways.
Now,
We
some
can
of
do
those
it-
roads had some bad spots in them where
Yes.
those trucks had been coming through there.
Yeah, and that was Palace Drive.
Yeah, it was
And,
rough.
so that road, I recommended that we do an overlay on and level. Because it's not to the point that the base is breaking, it's just that it's got divots in it that needs to be leveled so the water will drain off of it. And that asphalt machine will do it just right. If we could get in there and set the angles and everything up on it, it'll take care of that. Shuri Lane needs just a little bit of work. We can either do an overlay in that or a repair and reseal. Knight Arnold, it's basically we could do an overlay or reseal.
I think we decided to do reseal on both of those.
And so, but now, like I
Palace
said,
Drive.
Palace Drive is one that needs.
It's gotta have that
Yeah,
overlay.
it's gotta have overlay. King's Arms, that's the one that's going back in there where we did the cleanup work.
Is that the one we had the kind of disputed on whether that was actually county right away.
Yeah, and we figured out the county right away went down to the pit.
Yeah.
And so we got, you hadn't been in there lately, but we actually got permission from the landowner. That road actually went to the creek. I didn't know it until we got in there. We got permission from the landowner to go in there and clean that up and open those ditches up. Well, it would drain, it's a road down through there, all the way to the creek, and they were smart when they got there. They didn't go directly into the creek with the road. They went so far, and then they turned the drain the way the water was running. So both ditches go and turn and go to the creek. So it actually is not washing the ditches out like I would.
I just remember we went through a pretty good round on whether that was actually county right
The
away.
last portion of it is not, but it's some parts of it is, and that has to be, it's work out.
There's an actual road, road, like a guy that walked on the road.
Asphalt is actually down to that, where that water's been crossing.
You couldn't tell it.
Oh,
No.
okay, well, you could tell him, kick
Yeah.
around a little bit and found it, but it's actual road.
And then after we got in that, cleaned all the debris off, man, it showed up. So that they actually cut a road all the way to the creek. We got all the trees out of the ditches and opened the ditches up.
Yeah, we just had to go back in
And
there.
it actually water line is back in there, so we hit one. So they had it fixed all the way to the end of that road. Colonial, I think, rest of them except for, pallets, we can actually do reseal.
Yes.
Get them sealed back up.
Yeah.
Then we fall over into the bad.
Yeah, that other one's terrible.
One of those roads in there, it actually got to be ground up. Clyde, that's one that you and I need to go in there and take a look at. In that, White Oak Lane subdivision, one of them it's ain't nothing to do but grind it up. It's all pieces. The asphalt is walking up and down and everything.
We talked about that a little bit. Those roads essentially, there's been a little bit done, but those roads are now, 33, 34 years.
Yeah, the rest of them, ain't but one of them that's just really bad.
Yeah.
The other could take a overlay or either some repair or reseal.
Yeah, that one road.
I'm gonna go on Clyde's suggestion and then come back to you with those. And then I'll have a figure ready so we can get everything together and you decide what you want to do.
Did we ever decide about those trucks that were coming down through there? I mean, are they using that as a cut through?
They were,
Yeah.
they were using that as a cut through to go around.
You got one dirt hauler down there on Mount Olive, it's called Colorado.
Well, yeah, and so that bridge down there has actually, they can't haul dirt through that anymore. Cause that bridge, this weight has been dropped on it tremendously. That's a bridge that, we had to put, one of the things the state had us to put signs on. And so we did sign it. So they can't come that way, locally.
That road that we're talking about got just demolished in this past year. I mean, I've been riding through there before, and I mean, that road bed and everything was laid real well.
Well, see, that's what I'm
It was
thinking,
good.
they was coming out of the dirt pit, coming around, going around through it, to keep from crossing that bridge.
Well, that whole road, the whole entire thing is just horrific. It's just been demolished.
Again, you got one operation down there, it's called Colorado.
I think that's all we got right now on you. And like I said, I want to get with Clyde and we ride these and get his opinion on what he thinks before we actually put a pencil to the dollar on it. And last, Mr. Joe, but not least.
And just wait.
All right.
I was wondering too, are you talking about, the 2024 bond? Or are you talking about the 2025 bond?
No, this is all that we've talked about so far is on the 2025 bond. I mean, on that new one. that's coming, yeah, that we hadn't received yet, but we trying to get ready for.
But you are gonna finish the
Yes.
2020.
Oh, yeah, yeah, we're gonna
Before
finish
you
that.
move forward to the 2020.
Yes, yes, sir. Yeah, as soon as we get everything together, we're gonna jump on it. So,
That's a commitment now that you're gonna finish the 2024.
oh, we gotta,
Before you start on the 2025.
we gotta do that.
Okay.
It won't be long, it'll be finished, the way this stuff is pricing out. But yes, sir, that's what we're gonna do. All right. So, this is on the 2025 bond stuff. You had a request for us to look at Daily Road. That is one of the projects.
Okay. And then I got the name of the person who owned that property that you wanna move we need to move that
Yeah.
fence line over. They did give me a name, and I share that.
And so that's where I will have to come back to the board with a new list of projects that need to be surveyed once we get these projects. Once they're approved on these new construction projects, we'll have to come back to get a list of stuff to get it approved for Clyde to do survey work on. And Daily will be one of them. All right, the next one will be Osmond Road. It will be in the 2025. I mean, in the new bond, 26.
The new bond?
Yes.
Okay, let's work on that. Yeah, let's work on the old bond.
All right.
The old bond, we had some roads that we need to finish up.
All right, okay, we've already got those, I don't know if I got them with me or not. One of them is gonna be Harris Road, we're working on it. And then the next one will be Lean Lane. Harris and Lean.
Okay. We had to get a survey for one of those.
Yeah.
I hope we got that survey done.
Field survey is done, Justin met with Vic out there, we're getting it on paper now, but we've been out there and got it on the ground.
Well, let's work on those, because those roads were entered on the 2024 bond, and we never worked on. So, let's finish those roads, if you will.
Yeah, those are
That
ones.
we initiated.
Yeah,
On
Harris
2024.
is in progress. They're working on it from Turkey Creek to the bridge now. We're actually putting the clay gravel in on it. This rain knocked us out, but hopefully we'll get back on it. If it does, like they say, next week we'll be back in there hauling clay gravel back and trying to get it finished up. Lean, as soon as we get everything on our surveys and stuff done and get all the paperwork done and signed, we'll be ready to get back in on it.
I think we have the survey. I think we have the survey on that.
We've got the field work done, I'm getting it on paper now.
Yeah.
Get the line, get the file.
And then there were also a road, Johnson Road.
Yeah.
I think it was on the 2020.
Yeah. We're gonna do it when we start our paving. When we start paving, we'll do Johnson. Yeah.
When you start paving for the 2025 bond?
No, when we start up paving all the way around, that's when we'll, see, I still got, Wooten Road to pave, as well as Johnson Road, as well as Harris. See, all of those gotta be paved in that same time. But when I start ordering material to do one, that's when we'll go into that and get them all done at one time.
We still talking about the 2024 bond.
Yeah, we're gonna get that done as soon as this weather breaks and we get Harris done, and we're gonna go back and try to go get Wooten, Johnson, and Harris paved.
When you do those recommendations, we put them on separate.
Oh, yeah, they'll be separate. But now, this is the stuff that we're wanting to see if we want to get approved, so I can go ahead on and get those initiation forms in. And so Daily was one that we talked about, and I want to make sure that is one that you want to do. And I want to go ahead on and get that done, plus I want to get that on the list for Clyde to do survey on
once a year. All right, and
There's no, at this particular time, there's no cost associated, I don't believe, with daily. Just the fact that we need to be in there doing, construction work and moving fence around and things like that.
well, we
Not paving costs.
yeah. No, it won't be any paving costs. It'll just be the cost of what we'll have to do to do the initial
Right.
work on it. And once, like I say, once I get everything done and get everything initiated, get all the forms signed, get all my costs in, all that in, and then I can get this turned in so we can get it signed and get everything ready to go.
And just preparation.
Yeah, it's preparation. Yeah, I'm trying to get it ahead so it won't be
Right.
at the last minute. Okay, we also talked about Oxby. Are you still wanting to put that in the paving, building paving?
And we have funds in the 2024 budget.
I don't know if it won't be in, I'm getting the head shake. It won't be able to go into 24.
Don't worry about it, everything, that can't go in that then.
Yeah.
We're doing some preparation work on ours now.
Yeah, but, I mean, they cleaning ditches and stuff like that. Yeah. All right, now,
Let's continue with preparation for ours.
okay. All right, now,
We might have funds later to be.
yeah, so now on daily now, it's not on the 2024, it's gonna be on the it's gonna be on the new.
Yeah, that's new,
Yeah, daily's the new.
but you doing preparation work.
Yeah, So now on Oxby, do you wanna continue through with the clay gravel and paving project out of the 2026 fund?
There may be some
Okay.
funds available when we're gonna get more updates on it, so I can tell you just a minute.
All right, well, I'm gonna get everything together on that, and I'll get an initiation form for that. All right, also, we talked about Commons. Are we gonna,
Well, let's pave that road just as is, we don't have to do a whole lot of work to it. They've been on the list for the past 8 years.
all right, well, I'll do an initiation form for that. And I believe that's gonna be, is there anything else that you
Well,
wanna?
I think we can get that done, we can move forward. You're talking about work that to be done this summer, am I right?
Well, on this, we'll get this initiated. We can't start this until the bond money comes in.
No, some of it though. Some of it you already have funds.
Yeah, now the Johnson and Lean and Harris, yeah,
This summer.
they're in the process.
This summer.
Yes, they for this summer, yeah. And the reason being we are working on the 2026 stuff is because we anticipate being able to do some of that stuff this year. That's why we want to get those initiation forms done. And so that's why I need to know if you're good with them, we're gonna go ahead on. All right.
Vic, what's the estimate of that cost?
I don't have it. I got it. I just wanted to make sure that we're gonna do it, and then I'll bring all that,
You
yeah.
may have enough funds for the 24. There may be some funds available for the 24.
Okay, well, I'll get it done today or either first thing in the morning, and I'll call you, and if it is, then I'll bring that back to the board as part of it for this year.
And I think there's a need to move forward with spending those funds, I believe, am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, if it's there,
I think he
if it's there, then we can squeeze it in there, that'll be good.
Okay.
That's pretty much all I have.
Well, let's get busy because there's some funds that are just a link,
All right.
just sitting there on the table. We need spend before we move into the new bond.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So what we've done today is identify the work that we want to try and get done. I guess the next phase would be to put a cost estimate.
We'll get you a cost on everything that we talked about.
Once we have a cost estimate, then that'll give each one of us a clear picture of what we got, how much we can do, can we get it all done, do we have to take something off the list? Once that happens, then the scheduling of the work. Yes. You know, all 5 districts won't work done, so we'll have to work out a schedule on how to get that work done. I guess, Carl, a little bit off subject, but related. Your updating of and this will go to you all too, and our road manager. When we get infrastructure projects completed, do you update your GIS and so your data will reflect updated projects?
Currently, we don't have any county projects described or displayable in the GIS. That's one of the things that we'd like to get to, where you actually initiate a project. Let's say you have a planned project, and then you have an initiation of that project, and you have a completion of that project. We currently don't have any of that information. We don't have project data.
So the process we're talking about doing right now, will it help with that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It would be new. Yes.
One of the things that I've instituted in-house also, Marvell, is kind of new, is that on the projects you assign to us, we're doing a drone survey of them before and after. So we can coordinate some of that work, but if you tell me to go work on Lane Lane or whatever we're doing out there, we're gonna do a drone survey of that before we start, so we see all the existing conditions, we've got that committed to record. And then when we finish, we'll repeat that, so we can have it before and after. We're just doing that in-house at my direction.
So that's something new. For instance, we wouldn't necessarily have to duplicate that, but they have the capabilities now with the merger of Pritchard and Dungan to actually host that data, and we can simply pull a view of it into our GIS. Now, we haven't done that yet. We haven't even talked about that yet, but those are the kind of capabilities that'll make this easy. In other words, you'll be able to see your engineering projects that come straight from their data. That's a possibility in the future.
Yeah, that's just some collaboration, and honestly, Carl, wow, that's over my head, you know.
Well, you got a great team now, right? You got the knowledge.
Carl, what about plugging in for future, every time we do a survey or an easement, could we attach that into this information?
Absolutely.
And build this out? Because from my standpoint, we're going back and finding that stuff can be a nightmare. So I'm loving this connector points. That's going to be really a lot better.
Okay, so I guess the next thing would be, when can we pull all this together? Because you know, we sort of simultaneously working on getting the bond money in place and things of that nature. So how long, just guessing?
Well, our charge to you right now is to come back with the estimate to do our work.
Yeah, right.
Our scope of work,
Right.
what we're gonna look at, what we think this might cost. We won't have that by the first.
Oh, no. I'm just,
We won't have the 26 bond money till,
yeah.
I mean, if I had to guess, August is what I'm guessing, okay? And I'm not even confident in that. We'll know more when Nick and them show up, Monday. I think we can ask some more pointed questions and get a better idea of when that money will be here.
We can have our scope in a couple of weeks.
But all I ask, Clyde, is if I could get a separate, it could be in memorandum format. This is the project, this is the scope of work, this is the kind of the work elements, right? And then this is how much it costs, so that I can have an individual document, kind of like an initial.
Yeah, you got to see that project going on.
And Vic and I have a form that we use that kind of helps him do his piece. I'm happy to send it to you, you don't have to use that form.
We gonna, but when this weather changes, we actually start to work on refilling and paving.
You got enough, I mean, you got a number of projects already approved and funded that you can,
No, we
I know Mr. Joe got He's down
He doesn't
when
seem
he
to want to
down
spend
about
money
the
in
last
this time.
time.
For some reason, I don't know why he's holding that money for fire.
No, we ain't holding it, we spending it. You just don't know it
He's
yet.
got it planned down to the last dime, I can tell you.
Well, while I got Rob, yeah, if I could, Rob,
Thank you, Mr. Carter.
Yes,
we just
sir.
want to let the cat out of the bag that this thing is working on a countywide wastewater feasibility.
Be cool.
And at the appropriate point in time, we'll come back with what that vision is and kind of how it would work. But I wanted the board to know so it didn't backdoor into somebody here, well, we heard so and so. Yeah, we're working on that. Okay? And Rob's been part of this conversation since early on.
We're in the capital, that's what, that's the budget, we're about to our county's growth, and what do we need to do to prepare for that?
This, what he's talking about will go way beyond helping us figure out how to plug some money in and moving forward. Now, that being said, everybody else is fighting for it too, so this helps.
I would like to remind the board that we got appropriated $1 million. Now, we had 3 projects for the ask. The total of the 3 projects was much greater than $1 million. All they appropriated for us was $1 million. So at some point, we're gonna have to figure out between the 3 projects that we were trying to get done, how we going, because I can't spend the money on anything but one of those 3 projects, or any of those 3 projects.
And that may partially be, the reason this is so convoluted, I hate to say this, could be my fault. I didn't want to give up any room. I didn't want to give up any money. So I left the roads there, hoping that we could push it over the amount that I was asking for, and they ended up leaving the projects there, but reducing the money, and just happens sometimes.
But I will, I think I've already shared that information with y'all, I just wanted to put it back
Yeah,
on
we
the table.
prepared estimates for all 3 of those.
Yeah, but it was much more than $1 million, so we gonna have to prioritize something, or figure out how to split it,
or pick one of them, I think would be fine, I'm not happy with what we got, but it is what it is.
We appreciate what you did.
Something better than nothing.
Well, I agree. We spent a lot of years getting nothing, so.
Yeah.
We really did. So.
But that money's kinda like the bond money, they won't be able to give it out till after July the 1st. That's when the new state year begins, so we may be looking at September before I can actually get the money in hand. I've got some guidance in my email that I can't read.
We'll get direction beforehand though, but it'll take us that long to get
Right.
plans, bid, documents, done together.
Yeah.
So sooner the better.
Rod just got, good to know, good time, he got named one of the top 100 most influential people in the state of Mississippi.
Top 100.
So I'm pressing.
Well, I know some too.
Such a sad commentary. Bottom of the barrel and find somebody
The top of the bottom of the barrel.
on the top of the bottom of the barrel.
So I guess we've had a discussion, part of the intent was to talk about the future bond, but Nick and them is coming to the board meeting Monday, so I think that'll be a better time to discuss that.
Nick will be here, who's probably the one we need to hear from. I don't think Troy is gonna be able to make it, but Butler Snow sent me a number of documents that we're gonna have to approve on Monday.
So we'll have that discussion then Monday on the bond and the amount.
Last time y'all did this, we ended up having produced a list of roads and estimates on those roads. We had some flexibility as the game went on, but we had to produce an early estimate and identify the roads for the bond.
One other little thing, it brought to my attention and Mr. Jones, about a citizen, and since Clyde is here, it may be a good time to talk about. Don't have the documentation to get you here with me, but we have a gentleman that had a bad case of flooding around his home. walk right in front door. And I think he's wanting to come to the board about it and just kind of give the board a heads up. I've looked at the situation and I've got Jarvis looking into it. But I think he's in a flood zone, almost positive of it. And the reason I said Clyde is because the only thing I can see that might relieve the flooding issue would be putting a cover across a state aid road. Another cover, I say it like that, because it has a cross drain there that won't take that water when it rains. In fact, the main creek, after going out there and looking at it on time before, the main creek actually, when it floods, we went out and put two extra cover on our driveway to help relieve that problem one time. And come to find out, that didn't help anything. Because when the water on the main creek bags up, it actually bags up through that cover too. So that cover was just basically a waste. It might let the water out once the creek goes down. So the only other thing that I've seen, and that's why I need to get Clyde with the board permission to study this, is to put a cross drain across that main road to relieve some of that. There's more water coming through that area than the covers and the bridge can take. And then, but if we put a cross drain across that road, it may put more water then across on the other people. So it's gonna take a study to fix it.
What are you suggesting today? I mean,
I'm suggesting that we, along with Clyde's help, board, give me an opportunity, along with Clyde's help, to go out there and look at it, and we try to come up with it. I think the biggest solution is they should have put his house at home.
It's a serious problem. His house is under the water.
motion authorized. Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Little, that we authorize our engineer to go out with our road manager and look at the situation and come back and report to the board.
Is this at the end of South Montgomery and Bethel?
No, this is on Turkey, off of Turkey Creek Road.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
That's Turkey Creek and
Wash Lane.
Wash Lane intersection of Turkey Creek.
What happened to look in the board? They are situation you just can't fix.
I think he should have, well, I'm not going to comment. And the reason I'm doing that today is I've got a doctor's appointment that I waited 2 months to go to. And if I miss it this time, I'm gonna have to wait another month to get another appointment back with them. So I won't be here on Monday. I can't make that a month. So that's why I wanted to take care of this issue.
There's another situation too, Mr. President and Mr. Carter. I think you're looking at a situation on right there at Hollis Creek where a gentleman is getting ready to build a house. Now that is flood zone too, I believe.
And I have told him that.
Mhm.
I told him that if he puts a house in there and don't put it up in there right, he's gonna have a problem. And so I think that's where it comes down to that issue of we need to actually kind of enforce, well, I guess we can't force, but these people need to know more about what they're getting into when they come and get that permit. If they're going in a flood zone, they don't need to
Well,
be
the
able to.
situation that you're talking about, this fellow knows it.
Yeah.
I have had long conversations with him, and we've looked at the flood map, he knows.
Well, your criteria for a single family residence in the county is basically two. You own property, water, sewer, and it's not in a flood zone.
Well, there is a flood, there's a, what do they call it, a flood zone permit, a floodplain permit, that they have to go through a pretty extensive process with, our flood zone manager, emergency manager, in order to document that they're up above
flood.
Whatever the
Yeah,
100-year
flood level.
flood line is.
Well, I told him that same thing when he applied for that cover, that if he built in there, water was gonna come to visit him if he didn't do it right.
What he's pushing for right now is a Tom Digby River Water Management District project. I don't know how that's gonna help him. I mean, that thing's been
It's
flooding
not
all
gonna
the time.
change his flood map, and what you're talking about, the certification is actually a two-time event. One, supposed to have an engineer go out and verify his forms, if you will, where he's gonna put the house before he builds. And then after he's actually poured slab, built the floor, whatever, a second survey to go back and sign a flood certificate to say that he's out of the flood zone.
How's he gonna get insurance on that if?
Well, he won't be able to get a loan if he don't do it right.
If he's financing a bank or insurance company should pick up on that. They're gonna look real quick and see that it's in a flood zone and that those lanes are required.
Because what ends up, we see what ends up happening.
They end up coming to see us. It all falls back on the county. It's what happens.
Quote unquote self-performing and not working through
The process that,
a
it's there to
bank,
protect him.
a
It's not there
bank or
to-
anybody else. That he could very well go out there, build in a flood zone and have a problem.
And his request is gonna be before the board, at one of our board meetings, he's gonna request that we clean out, have Tom Higby, Waterway Management District, to clean out, Hollis Creek.
That will not impact his.
It won't.
I know.
Well,
Hollis
I'm not
Creek-
saying that won't benefit, but
There's
it's
something-
still gonna show up as being in a floodplain on the map to the bank, to an insurance company.
Yes.
And he's required to build a
Hollis
boat.
Creek. Hollis Creek been flooding at that location for years.
Years. And the last time it flooded, it almost took the pavement off the road. It actually went under the pavement
Well,
when it crossed
just
the road.
briefly, and I know you already go, but there's two criteria, floodplain and floodway. And if this map's in a floodway, he's got a whole different set of criteria. He can't just arbitrarily go in there and build up dirt or build up a pad and do that. He's
Yeah.
got to show hydraulically that he's not impacting, raising the flood. That's a whole different process.
I don't think he's gonna be in a floodway because he's so far from the creek. But what happens is when it floods, that water just bags up. That lady that lives on that corner right there already is built up and the water
I'm
comes up
just,
there.
again, you can get Tom Bigby to do it, not to say that that might not help or benefit, but that's not gonna change what he's looking at financially.
No, it's not.
Water works just like that roundabout out there in Mississippi State.
I
A
hope
lot
it
of
works
people,
better than
well,
that.
a lot of people don't like roundabouts, but this is the way the roundabout in water works. If there wasn't any traffic lights anywhere to ever stop that traffic from going, well, you wouldn't get back up at the roundabout. But what happens when lights start to stop traffic, well, traffic starts to build, water does the same thing. After everything that water flows into, fill up, well, now the water's gotta wait, and as it waits, it's the same concept. It's the exact same thing, so. You know, you talk about, well, if I just fix this little spot right here where it's flooding at, well, you got to go way on downstream and stop the water from ever stopping and back.
And that water floods in that bottom down there, what we used to call block of bottom. It floods down there.
And once block of bottom get full,
the
water gotta wait now before it can go, so it's that concept.
I can cross Tippy Creek on 45 and tell you where my hunting property is, whether
Yeah,
it's flooded
absolutely.
or not.
Well, I guess that's, if it's nothing else, we'll adjourn until the 1st.
Thank y'all for your time.
Thank you all. Thank you all so much. Motion by Supervisor Travis, second by Supervisor